Hey, welcome to another episode of Politics and Wellness. Let's go. And welcome to another wonderful Tuesday where we talk about what politics, wellness, mess, TV, entertainment, a whole bunch of stuff with you as my co-host. And of course, as always, the ladies love him. Who else but Brother Nate? Are you ready, sir, to get this party started? All right. He's got his aviators on today. He is doing air traffic controlling today. Yes. he is flying high.
I'm flying. Yeah, that's why I had to put drops in my eyes, right?
He is flying high today. Okay.
Clear eyes.
He's got his aviators. And he just need a little. This is what I for you today.
Oh Lord, we pulling out all the stuff.
You are the aviator today. All right. He is your traffic controller. He will be guiding.
I will be guiding your flight.
Yes, this is today. Who needs anything else when you got Brother Nate? You don't even need Southwest. You don't need Spirit. You got Brother Nate. But anyway, hello.
And I will not lose your bags.
Right. That too. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hey, Nicole Reloaded. Nice to see you. Miss Deb. Wow, nice to see you, Miss Deb. Usually, I catch you on the rebound.
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Williams. How are you, ma'am? Nice to see you. And Patty Duke. As always, it is a pleasure. And for everybody up in the balcony, nice to see you. So how has your week been, sir, thus far?
Very nice.
Okay, cool. And likewise, I hope everybody's having a great start to their week, even though it's just Tuesday. Everything's been happening. It always happens after Tuesday, which really sucks because then you try to keep up with everything because it's a lot.
Yeah, I guess it revs up. As soon as we get off, shit starts popping. I'm like, what the hell? God damn.
It is always happening. Hey, Melissa Scott, how are you? So first and foremost, before we even get started.
Hey, Missy, how you doing? Oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh. Hey, girl, I bet you glad you put that lock on that bike.
Oh, shit. Not the lock on the bike.
Yeah, somebody popped her co-worker's bike and left him a hunk of junk. Literally left him some raggedy bike. It was crazy.
That is horrible. But yeah, definitely. But before we get started, definitely prayers to the families of Bill Russell, the famous NBA Hall of Famer who played with the Boston Celtics. Has passed away, I think, at the age of 89, was it?
Yeah, I think they were both 89.
Yeah, I think they were both 89. And Star Trek.
Nichelle Nichols.
Nichelle Nichols, yes. I was trying to think of her Star Trek name. But yeah, she has passed as well. Yeah, two great trailblazers, actually. She was the first, wasn't she the first interracial kiss? Didn't she kiss William Shatner on
Star Trek? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
you hear me tell you about back in the day, I didn't think black people were going to be in space because you never saw any black folk.
Right. I can imagine.
Any of the sci-fi shows.
Right. So she definitely was the first. So definitely prayers out to their families. And they lived a great life. I mean, granted, you don't want to see people go, but that's a life well lived. 80. Definitely 89. We're only supposed to be at 70, I think the book says.
I'm taking every goddamn thing I can get.
Right.
I ain't gonna be too. If you got to roll my ass around in the chair, I'll change my own diapers, please.
I know that's right. But anyway, so let's get on to that. Let's get started with, of course, these. Where'd my schnitz go? Where'd my stuff go? Okay, I'm about to be like, whoa. All right, let's get started with. All right. Now, talk about news updates, not to be funny, but we did just talk about the passing of two great legends. And with that mentioned, President Joe Biden has COVID yet again. So he is tested positive for COVID a second time and had to go back into quarantine. Now, any other person or people of a particular age, you get a little bit concerned. And because Joe Biden is the oldest president that we've had in U.S. history, this is a bit concerning. I mean, they're talking like, he's fine and in good spirits and all that jazz, but he is older, and this makes this a lot more complicated. And to have it back to back like this at this point makes me a bit nervous. I feel like Ruth Bader Ginsburg's ass and be like, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. And not that it would really make a difference at this point, but I just feel like it'll just go like whatever. It'll just go to hell in a handbasket from here.
You have to ask yourself how many boosters does he have? Because he has about 15 or 20.
Right.
Every time you turn around, he's like, make sure you take the boosters. Like, what? It ain't doing your ass any good.
And then on top of that, he's getting the first of the first. Like, we're getting, the handed down doses. We know that works. This may work a little bit. He's right. He's getting the top notch, grade A, filet mignon, the top of the line health care. So if he's getting it twice back to back, something ain't right. But definitely, I definitely pray for his recovery, and but then he is an older gentleman. I mean, we can't ignore the signs of aging when it comes to memory loss and all those kind of things. They are quick. The dementia.
Joe said dementia. Just call it what it is.
They are quick.
Don't be scared. Just call it what it is. We know it's coming.
Yeah, that they're quick to point out. But I do believe that more things are on the way. I just hope that Miss Harris and whomever else will be taking the helm is preparing themselves. And those quiet kind of, what is she doing? She's been preparing the whole time. Huh?
That would be Nancy Pelosi, correct?
Correct. Well, if she doesn't choose a running mate or someone,
she could walk across the floor because she's just as fucking bad.
She's just as bad. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's just as bad. I didn't even understand what possessed her to go to Taiwan. Like, I'm like, you're anything could happen. Like, you're not invincible. I get it that you feel a certain way, but you're not invincible, and your age leaves you very vulnerable to threats. And that's not to be taken lightly. And I know a lot of people don't, like to look at it that way, but it is very true. And you being this third in command to the top guy, it's an issue. And I don't understand how people didn't really talk her kind of out of that to just send a dignitary, send somebody else. Why would you?
Somebody else could have went.
Right. I mean,
I just hope she didn't wear that powder blue suit like she wore over there in Ukraine in a war zone.
She probably wore.
Everything else is gray and bombed out, and you're in there with that bright ass powder blue suit on.
She's probably over there, with the kente cloth on, looking all out of place.
If she get caught on there and some shit pop off, she will be singing some old Negro
spirituals, right?
Or somebody steps.
Right. What'd you say, Nicole? She's busy yelling at her office.
Yelling at her staff.
Yeah. I mean, I think they all do. Personally, I don't put it past any of them. I think they all can be pretty nasty when it comes to that. So that I'm definitely not surprised.
Nasty and sharp tongue.
Well, unfortunately. Right. Sharp and nasty.
That's why you hold on to all the secrets.
Yeah, right. All right. So for those of you who haven't heard, but of course a lot of you have, that the U.S. offer to Russia in a deal to get Brittany back home. Brittany Griner, who is the WNBA star who has been held in Russia since February, I
Yes.
believe, for having marijuana or HTC oil cartridges in her luggage. Ain't the first time that she's had the cartridges in her luggage because she's played in Russia during the off season before. But of course, I don't know if nobody told her that, of course, this would be a bit problematic for the situation that Russia was entering in with Ukraine. So they, snatched her up as a pawn to get what they wanted. They actually didn't get the prisoner that they particularly wanted, but they claim they'll take this guy, but I don't know. So we shall see how this works out. Um, so, like I said, we'll see how this works with uh, the offer. It's supposed to be Brittany and a U.S. Um, personnel who's been in Russia longer than Brittany.
Hmm. I think 3 years.
Right. He's been in there for 3 years. So with him and Brittany for this Russian who is doing time for arms dealing, he was sentenced to federal prison for 25 years. Um, he was selling 700 to 800 surface to air missiles, over 20,000 AR or AK 47s, and millions of rounds of ammunition, plastic C4 explosives, and all types of shit. Now, I'm just trying to figure out how this Russian get his hands on all this equipment is beyond me. But I
The
don't know.
United States probably sold it to him.
Huh? Right. I mean, yeah, of course. Of course. That's always how it works. And then they try to, how did you get these weapons? What do you mean, how?
I got the receipt.
Right.
Walmart.
Right. Pretty much. So prayers go out to her and her family. Hopefully she is able to get home, and the other gentleman as well. And but yeah, life is, this is real life. Granted, we get so caught up in our own little things that we forget that these type of things do happen. People are held overseas for small offenses, and that's why we need to be mindful that we do share. Granted, we take them for granted, but we do share a lot of freedoms here that other countries do not. And so, we can't just, be lollygagging and just thinking, oh, it's just a vacation. No, it could be a vacation for the rest of your life. So you want to be mindful that you are adhering to all little
All
laws
expenses
and
paid.
ramifications, right? And ramifications that are happening.
Yeah, just remember when you travel out of the country,
Jeez,
you are a guest and you need to
that's it,
treat it as such.
right? A guess. And don't be trying to play no games and act big and bad. Because if you think that embassy is gonna, come and snatch you and go, "Hey, protect our citizen," no, it's a lot of red tape they got to go through
Yeah,
before that even happens.
because the United States already has that reputation of being arrogant.
Right?
When people go to visit other countries, you are a guest in their country and you need to act as such.
Yeah. Yeah.
You come over there with that. Well, white people go over there with that
Yeah.
attitude of, you know, you're here to cater to us,
Entitlement.
type
Yeah.
of thing. Yes, entitlement,
Hmm.
definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, Pink. Hey, Detached. How y'all doing this evening?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please hit that thumbs up button on your way in. Have a seat and enjoy. So now we're talking about if there wasn't more privilege than this. So remember the officers who were involved in the murder of George Floyd. There were two officers on his lower extremities. Derek Chapin was on his neck, and the other officer was in the crowd, I guess, trying to keep everybody at bay. So the other three officers have now been sentenced, and I just want you. It's going to be a light, just run through of these charges, and you just let me know how you feel about it, because I smell ambiance of bullshit and white privilege, but it's just me. So the white officer who was on George Floyd holding him down, along with the mixed officer, right, doing the same thing. Nobody changed anything different. They were doing the same exact thing, still holding George Floyd as Derek held his neck, didn't say nothing, just held George Floyd down. The white officer got 2.5. You want to know how much the mixed officer got for doing the same thing? Sure, since you asked, 3.5. How about the I'll say Asian officer who was kind of keeping the crowd back and going, hey, you know, when he can't breathe, hey, stand back, and doing all that, you know, tough guy shit. He got 3.5. Now, my thing is, how does the white officer get 2.5 for doing the same shit that the officer of color, because he clearly is black and white, gets 3.5? Makes no sense. It really makes no sense to me. I mean, these people do so much caping for this, when the reality is, it doesn't care who's handing out the justice. That bitch will lift that little blindfold up and be like, what color is that? Oh, okay.
Justice is a white woman.
It's so heavy. Right. It's so heavy on this side of my arm. And just drop the hammer on these motherfuckers. I just really, it's fair to you. Really? You think so? I don't think so. I really don't. I think all of the officers, I mean, other than Derek, of course, but all of the officers still should have gotten harder sentences, because for the simple fact that you are there to protect and serve. You are not just there to protect and serve who you feel like, when you feel like. You are there to protect and serve even the people you apprehend. So to the fact that they didn't say anything to speak up against what Derek was doing was enough. At minimum, 5 years for all three of them.
I'm saying 7 to 10. What are you talking about?
Well,
because they could have intervened. They could have intervened.
I mean, that part is true, but I'm just saying we already know how it was. We already know how. I mean, I think 5 would have been as light as that is. I think that would have been far just than giving the white guy 2.5 and giving the people of color 3.5 for what they did the same exact shit. So I really just didn't understand how he was able to kind of get away with that, and then talking about he's gonna appeal. For y'all really not gonna do any time to begin with. This is just to keep the pressure off of, you know, the media, the town, don't want nobody rioting and all that kind of bullshit, which I think, you know, it's always something with these people. Some call it not fair. I look at it. It's a wake-up call. Yeah, I mean, it is a wake-up call, but to always know that this exists is the most frustrating thing for me, being a young, well, not that young, but a young black man.
Those years are fleeting.
You know what? Whatever. Having, you know, younger family members, nephews, nieces, cousins, and all that, and knowing that this is still a world that I've learned about in the history books, that my grandparents and great-grandparents have gone through, that there are still situations where this happens and we are not looked at as human, or that when we face justice, it's always a harsher, longer sentence for some of the same acts, sometimes even less, and we get more time for these, you know, crimes or whatever. But I just think at this point, if we were going to say, you know, Blue Lives Matter and unite behind the blue, then all these officers should have got the same, at least these 3 should have all got the same sentence.
Yeah, I would not expect them to get what Derek got.
Yeah, I thought that was
definitely not.
That was good. Right, yeah, like I didn't expect them to get what Derek got. No, because Derek killed him, but they, you know, they could have spoken and said something. They chose to stand behind the blue wall of silence, or because Derek was a higher level officer, to just follow his lead and not question what he was doing, which I think was a bad error in judgment on their part. So,
well, the family can still sue civilly. So,
yeah, but who they gonna sue? They already sued the city, and then again,
the actual go after the actual officers.
Yeah, but usually sometimes in those clauses when they take the money from the city, there's usually clauses that they can't sue the actual lawyer, sue the actual officers and things of that nature. So until we know what the agreement was behind the funds that they did collect, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if they will be able to go after the officers civilly, but who's to say? Let's see. Speaking of people doing time and not or getting the wrong time, just real quick because I don't remember where it went, but January 6th, there was a brother involved in January 6th who did not go into the Capitol, but he was there. He was there. He cranked up some shit, kind of got rowdy with everybody else. But he didn't go into the Capitol. Or if he did, he didn't trash it. At least that's what the article is stating. That he went in, but he didn't trash anything. He didn't touch anything, but he did go in with the crowd. He got the longest sentence out of everybody.
No, it did change today.
Oh, they changed
he got what, 6? What did he get, 5 or 6 years?
Yeah.
There's another guy today that was sentenced to 7 years.
7 years. Okay.
That was the one that the son turned him in.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I remember that. Something did come across my thing, but I wasn't sure.
The guy, you read, you go ahead, finish.
No, go ahead. No,
everybody's like, but you're black. He's like, no, I'm a Trumper. It's like, no, you're a nigga. You got sentenced.
Twitter was like letting him have it. Like you.
But he looked like something was wrong with him. So
yeah. I mean, yeah. But to get that many years is a bit. Again, it's this thing with justice and us that is just not. It's not buying.
Donald Trump won't even get that.
He's 56 years old. This is what I'm saying. Right. He's 56 years old. Trump supporter. He was captured on video striking an officer, is what they said, with a red, white, and blue pole. All right. So for that is the reason why they claim they was giving him more time. But there were plenty of these clowns who abused officers. There's even the officer that was killed that they keep trying to act like he didn't die from his injuries, that he died from other things. But again, these are people who are patriots of blue lives and police officers, but it's only when they are for them or protecting them. Otherwise, it's F the police, which I think it's real funny. But yeah, so this 56-year-old man.
Did he put some whoop ass on the Capitol Police?
Yeah, so they put some whoop ass on him.
Was he the fire extinguisher guy?
No. What, you talking about the white guy from today? Yeah. He might have been. All I kept seeing was the court illustrator, the drawings that they were drawing, but he might have been. But I don't understand why. I still don't get why they haven't charged him, because
all of them ought to consider themselves lucky. Because if you were in another country, you would be dead. You would be dead.
Lucky ain't the word.
You would be dead. Your family, you'd have disappeared because they'd have came and scooped you.
They would have came and scooped you, and you would have never. Yeah,
you would have been that. They would have never saw you again, because that would not happen again.
You would have never seen the light of day ever.
He said, yeah, they known as trash. Yeah, they would be trash. in
Totally
somebody's dump
tried.
somewhere, because they can't dump them in the lakes because they all drying up.
Let's not even go there. What did I just do? Where'd my stuff go? I hate this thing now. Okay, where did everything go? There we go. Where are we? All right, we did that. What is this? Is this? Oh, I hate when nothing else. I think it takes forever to pop up. All right, so let's talk about this article real quick. This article talks about hunted. In 1 in every 3 people killed in the U.S. by police were fleeing. The data has now proven. Recently, 1 out of every 3rd person killed by the police since 2015 was running away, driving off, or attempting to flee when police officers fatally shot or used lethal force against them. So this article basically talks about the rise in police killings to Black people, people of color, and the low conviction turnout. Now, what I didn't know and what I did learn from reading this article, besides the numbers, is that the law for years have allowed police to kill civilians in a wide range of circumstances. Back in 1985, the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, ruled that officers can use lethal force against fleeing persons only if they are reasonably believed that the person was an immediate threat. Okay, but the court later said that officers' state of mind and the fear in the moment was relevant to determining whether shooting was warranted. That meant so killing could be considered justified if the officer claimed he or she was in fear of the person who was armed or saw them gesture towards their waistband or anything where they felt like it was a threat to their being. So pretty much they was able to just
Same old,
just same old, right?
Don't even reach for your wallet. You can't even do that.
Right. You can't even do that. Even if you say, I'm reaching for my wallet, can you show me this? I'm reaching for this to show you this, or do you have a weapon on you? Yes, I also have I'm registered. My registered license is here. My gun's in here. They still ready to fire, ready to to let
look
loose.
like a weapon.
Right. And then you come to find out you have no weapon. There was no wallet, or all of a sudden this gun appeared out of nowhere. Remember, was it South Carolina with the gentleman who did a traffic stop and then he chased them after he ran?
Oh, okay.
No, this was like a regular traffic stop. I think it was South Carolina. That officer is still in jail, but still appealing. He did a traffic stop. The young man or older gentleman got out the car and ran, and he chased them. But because he couldn't catch him,
oh yes, the one that actually caught on.
Scott, I think is the officer's last name. So he shot him in the back, and then he tried to throw his gun, like, oh, he grabbed my gun, and trying to,
not knowing that there was a guy
somebody
on
across the fence was filming filming the whole thing. So thank God that, which brought rise to, of course, people using their camera phones to basically call these lousy police officers out. But it talks about the many victims. And to be clear, people always talk about, oh, it's always the Black people. Actually, Pacific Islanders are at 42% as far as fleeing is concerned when it comes to police. 40% for Black people. They have Native Americans at 37, Hispanics at 36, whites at 31, which I don't believe that one at all, and Asians at 24.
they padded those numbers.
Yeah, of course. Because I'm just like, you see it. They get a ticket and they crumble it up and throw it away right in the officer's face, or tell the officer that they're not going to do something that the officer is telling them to do. And you're like, what? You're not going to comply? And there's no repercussions. So, it is what it is. But definitely very interesting story to talk about. It talks about a lot of the murders of unarmed people by the police. So definitely very interesting. You should check it out. Let's see what else I got here. So of course the news for today that really just came across just a couple days ago. I'll backtrack, but just a couple days ago, in a vote to 55-42, the Senate had blocked the House passing a bill expanding access to veterans health care, disabled benefits for veterans, which expose toxins during their military service. It was called the PACT Act, advancing to the final, of course, passage. They needed 60 votes to pass this on through. And of course, a lot of people started to get up in arms because a lot of these veterans are, ex-military, and they then vote Republican. So that started to heat up as far as a lot of the political conversation. You had Jon Stewart, who is the former host of The Daily Show, blasting out Republicans for turning their back on this deal. This deal was not only supposed to help disabled veterans, but also first responders. For a lot of the people like the firefighters and police officers who played a part in 9/11 in saving many people, were kind of tucked in this bill for them to be able to continue to get health care. A lot of them have since had forms of cancer due to, possibly the building exposure, asbestos, or who knows what. And the House Republicans basically told them to kiss their ass. And again, here we are talking about people who talk, so much about patriotism, so much about the military and having a strong military, but you won't support the people when they're down, which is ridiculous. So I don't know who told them, bitch, y'all know what year this is, bitch? This is a voting year. We can't do this shit. So, of course, the Senate has just passed minutes ago, right before we came on, the bill, the PACT Act. So, yeah, I don't know. I wish somebody would stop telling these motherfuckers that they're fucking up. But your thoughts,
Democrats, man. They always tell them what they should be doing. No, let them dig their hole.
That's it. Let them suffer. Shit,
But they show what they really think.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everybody's watching. You see them; they were on the floor high-fiving.
Yeah.
When they first didn't pass it,
right?
And I mean,
like they were.
They all
really
have that.
Something.
Yeah, they all have that. Like when Trump said about McCain,
Right.
I wouldn't,
distasteful.
Get captured or something.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't get captured. Bitch, you wouldn't even gone to war because you're
not with them heel spurs.
Not with them heel spurs with no bones.
With no bones.
Mm-hmm. Right. Just ridiculous. That man's a clown. But speaking of him clowning, you do know that right after the bill was blocked the first time, he basically, talked about, because they were giving him heat because he did a golf tournament at Westminster in New Jersey to the Saudis. Now, we all know that the Saudis has been padding his pocket while he was in the White House, and they continue to carry that over now that he's no longer in the White House and he doesn't have to be necessarily scrutinized by the House of Ethics, who basically they are the dog watchers and make sure that the president's not acting out of means or going too far with his powers or making money from the office, which he was doing anyway. That's why he fired that fat white guy. But so they started giving him beef about that because, of course, they have ties into the whole 9/11 thing. So, but yeah, no, basically he told him he didn't give a goddamn in so many words. I'm paraphrasing. And, 9/11 was so long ago. But this is the same guy. This is the same guy. Oh, I've had so many friends that died on 9/11. It's just like, come on. I really just don't believe what these people see in him. This guy's a clown.
And they continue to follow him. He shows you time and time again who he is.
Right, that he don't give a shit.
If they want to fall off that cliff, let them go right on ahead.
Yeah, well, just go by yourself. I'm not a grouper, so it's just like you could jump by yourself. Go ahead. Quickly, and in some other news, I thought this was interesting too, because I would have never thought that this person was a little bit on the low side, but you never know. You'd be surprised about people. Warren Buffett, his company has discriminated against Black home buyers in 3 states. Yeah, his Trident Mortgage Company, which is a division of Berkshire and Hathaway's Home Services in America. So the states in which this act was happening was West Philadelphia, PA, Camden, New Jersey, and Wilmington, Delaware. Yep. So Warren Buffett, the guy, he hangs out with Jay-Z and Beyonce and all them. The older guy who's not going to leave his kids any goddamn money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. His company has sister company of his has been discriminated against Black and Latino home buyers in those 3 states of Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania rather, New Jersey, and Delaware. The Department of Justice has said on Wednesday that in what they're calling the second largest redlining settlement in history. What was the first one? There was the first one?
I don't know.
I mean, that they actually acknowledged. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I'm still trying to find the first one that they acknowledged. They always like,
I was going to say,
it's
like, take your pick.
Right. It's like, what? What do you mean? So Trident unlawfully rendering activities denying communities of color equal access to residential mortgages, stripping them from opportunities of wealth building, devaluing properties, neighborhoods, and things of that nature. The Department of Civil Rights Division is prepared a settlement for these groups. I mean, they got him taking pictures with Jay-Z, Beyonce, all this stuff. I mean, they milking it too. The DOJ alleges that between 2015 and 2019, employees of Trident, which stopped writing mortgages back in 2020, made racist comments about making loans for Black buyers, calling certain neighborhoods ghettos. One manager of Trident was photographed posing in front of the Confederate flag. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, again, I'm not surprised. Like these,
I was going to say, but are we surprised?
Yeah, but people get like so like, these people do have corporate jobs. They do work in corporate America. This is why,
and it's all about money.
Yeah, this is why the situations are as they go as vast as they are, and they go as deep as they do, because it's so many places, so many pockets. So it's like, do you sit here and just focus on this one thing? Because if you focus on this one thing to kind of eradicate this here, it's spreading all over the place because it's all over everywhere. So it's almost like, do you just do a radiation and get rid of it all at one go, or do you try to do a surgery where you just go after one piece at a time? I don't know. It's just so
Oh,
complicated.
you'd never get it. That shit is
It's
as
so
spread all over.
it's so complicated. So complicated. But yeah, check that article out. Good old Warren Buffett. Check that out. And also in some other news, there's been a fourth person cured of HIV after ongoing risky procedures in the US. AIDS researchers has announced on Wednesday that the fourth person has been cured of HIV, but the dangerous procedure, for patients also battling cancer may be little comfort to the tens of millions living with the virus worldwide. I still think they need to be working on. I mean, as much money. Don't get me wrong. As much money as AIDS and cancer alone raise, I think they should be far uh, more than four, and I think they should have been having some cures for cancer by now. Like this is just ridiculous. Insurance companies, drug companies make far too
Yeah.
much money off
And
of
they
the
will continue
national-
to,
Yeah,
as long as they don't put the cure out there.
right.
You know they have a cure for it.
Right.
Because you can get so close where you can, if you can control it to the point where you suppress it, and you cannot tell,
right,
you know,
that
reduce
a
the
person
viral
has
load.
it. Yeah, they keep the viral load.
Then they
And
have
there's
it right
obviously
there.
a way you can, there's a way you can suppress it completely. But yeah, it's all about that good old moneymaker. But Dr. Sabi, who's a herbalist, um, had always claimed to have the cure or know of the cure for the virus, which some people say allegedly is why he was murdered and not dying of just age related causes, because he was in his I believe he was in his late 80s as well.
Yeah.
But I drug companies and these big pharmaceutical companies make a lot of money. So I would not be surprised if this is just about, putting something out there, because people are going to buy it and make some more money off of it until the government says, oh, no, you can't make all this money, but we'll buy. You can't monopolize the market with this product, but we'll buy it from you for this price, and then we'll distribute it to the drug companies, the hospitals, the clinics, or whatever, and we'll put a cap on how much profit you can make from this, which they like doing that shit too.
They'll just have to get it from us.
Yeah, right. Nonetheless, that's all I could muster, I think, from here. But I do have some public service announcements. Now that we talk about AIDS and HIV, it is important, very important, that we be mindful for you beautiful young ladies out here, that we want to make sure that you are prepared. There's monkeypox going around, but we also want to make sure, being a little light and putting a little light in here, that we want to make sure that the women are taken care of, and making sure that summer's eve, right, does not have to be a cold, harsh winter's night, that it smells quite fresh down there, so you don't smell like this.
Your pussy stank. Your pussy stank. Your pussy stank. Your pussy stank. Feminine wash. Feminine wash. Feminine wash. Feminine wash. Feminine wash. Feminine wash. It takes the smell away. Na 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 na. Your pussy stink. Your pussy stink. Your pussy stink. Your pussy stink. Feminine wash. Feminine wash. Feminine wash. Feminine wash. Feminine wash. Feminine wash. That smell away. Your pussy stink.
Crazy. So yeah, just want to make sure.
Goddamn Muppets. Maybe we had enough last week. God damn.
So the Muppets are here giving personal, yes, really giving announcements to the people to make sure that everybody is fresh and clean. They out here doing that because they can't do nothing else because they about to get fired for not, participating and shaking the kids and hugging the kids. I don't know what's going on, but so they out here giving personal health care announcements, and I just want to make sure that all the ladies are doing your due diligence now too. Guys, y'all know your balls can stink too, so just take that and reverse it because your balls may be a little unfresh. You want to make sure your balls are clean too. So
wash your ass, please.
Yeah, just wash your ass. Point blank and the period. Use the soap because it's helpful. So yeah, and with that, was there anything else I wanted to add? There's monkeypox, of course. It's popping up everywhere. Please make sure that you are being mindful of the surfaces you're touching.
Yes,
we kind of got to get into those habits back again. I know
all of that. What is it? That sanitary. Stuff that we bought with the other stuff
with COVID.
I hope you saved it all.
Yes, right.
Because you will continue to keep using this. Put it back in your car. Put it back in your purse.
Right. Continue to wear your mask and things of that nature to make sure that
I had to buy me a shoulder bag.
Oh.
I had to buy me a shoulder bag because
did you? Why?
Yes, because I had to carry all that shit between a mask and the hand sanitizer.
Oh, do tell.
And all that shit down there. Now y'all got me carrying a purse.
Now you got a man bag.
I got a man bag. I'm merged.
See, everybody talking shit, but you can't walk around with all that shit in your pocket.
Oh hell no! I usually just like cargo pants, but shit, that shit way you that between that, your cell phone and all that stuff.
Your cell phone, your wallet, and all that kind of stuff. You might as well break down and get you one.
I gotta worry about when I stop. Did I leave my bag?
Right. Right. Now everything's in it.
Everything's in it. My life is in there. Oh my God.
You keep everything. Everything is in the bag. Yeah. So yeah, you crack jokes now, but you won't be laughing pretty soon. But
I tell you one
comes in handy.
That monkeypox is popping up all over the place.
The monkeypox is popping up, and it's popping up a lot, and it looks gross.
Did you want to run that one?
No, thank you. I didn't have it. It didn't pull up.
I have it.
Okay.
If you want to run it.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because that is something. Ooh. No, thank you. I don't want no. Keep that goddamn monkey away from me. Jesus Christ. That thing looks painful, and it just looks
And like I said, every time I see it, the first thing I think is, "Oh, somebody's been sucking dick." Because it's always
it looks like her. It just looks like herpes. But I mean, I get it. There have been cases now with children that have gotten it. Of course, as always, they always quickly try to make it a homosexual, bisexual, whatever, trisexual kind of disease. But this is definitely very much something that is this the one with her the mouth?
Yes.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Middle.
And this is the woman that says she works at a gas station, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's day 9. Day 12. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was and that habit keeping your hands out of your face too.
Yes. Just as COVID Right. Just as when COVID was first going on, it was like, keep your hands out of your face. Don't touch, your face when you're out. And try to, wear gloves and do all that kind of stuff. I guess.
That damn Patty Duke.
My cat don't stink. My husband does. Unless he lied. Oh God! But
sometimes we gotta take one for the team.
Right. You just gotta bite the bullet. Bite the bullet. But yeah, just please make sure that you are washing your hands. You're being mindful of the surfaces you're touching, and if you are touching surfaces for whatever reason, just make sure you're washing your hands, not touching your face, things of that nature. And if you are a person that likes to have a little rendezvous in different places and things, then you need to think about getting, and this is gay, straight, or whatever, you need to think about getting the shot for your monkeypox, because don't nobody want that. I don't think anybody wants that, because it looks very painful.
Yeah,
it looks extremely painful. And it don't look like it has any place where it pops up. Look like it may pop up anywhere. It looked like she had them in her mouth and her.
Yeah, she had them in her throat. They've had them on their hands and in their genital area.
I saw the one guy, he had them like under his.
There's one guy.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
A hot ass mess.
Yeah, very much so.
I mean, a hot mess, and that's always the first thing I think when I see him, especially when that broke.
Yeah, right, all around their face. And
then, working at that gas station. What were you doing?
What else are you doing at the gas station? That's what I wanted to say. Or was that your only occupation? Or was you?
Or is it like? Well, it's related to smallpox,
right?
But like with the chicken pox, normally when you would have an outbreak, you had real bad portions of it would be in moist areas where folds were and things like that in your skin, under your armpits, in your groin area, and your buttocks and things like that.
Right.
It's nasty look. It's real nasty looking.
Yeah.
Look, I had a mosquito bite. I was looking at that bitch sideways. Where did you come from? And
where did you come from? And when and where? And then you watching it, you like. There was one. I was just reading an article. A young man who had it, and it only lasted for a few weeks. But he was in the hospital getting treatment, and they were putting some kind of an ointment that they put together to kind of dry it out. But yeah, just go back to start wearing gloves again and things of that nature. That's what I would say.
And what people are doing too is they're coming out, and if they have them on their arms are uncovered.
Yeah.
Cover your arms.
Right.
Because as long as you're just like with chicken pox, if you're exposed to the open lesions, you could still spread it.
Right. And start looking at folks. I mean, granted, some of you all are married, so you don't have to really,
No, you look at them motherfuckers too, because motherfuckers drag all kinds of shit in the house.
Cut them lights on and just examine, people. Don't be trying to be like Teddy Pendergrass and turn them off, turn them motherfuckers on, so you can see exactly what's going on with people. Because don't nobody need that at all.
Yeah, but like I said, it's a perfect storm. Here you have all these people going to all these festivals. You don't have to have sexual contact. You're just in close proximity. Everybody's breathing, sweating.
Right.
Everybody's passing blunts, drinking off a bottle.
Yeah.
If Henny don't kill it, that motherfucker's tough. That's some tough shit out there. If Henny don't stop that shit, it's a done deal.
It's a done deal. All right, so that's all I had for that. So we can get into this whole who said that real quick, and then we can roll it on. But all right, so let's get into who said that.
Who said that? Who said that? Who had been saying that? Who said that? Who said that?
All right. here we go with Who Said That. This is the segment of the show where we talk about usually YouTube stuff or stuff that's going on in entertainment or in the news that's kind of like not politically related, kind of, sort of. And of course, what's going on right now, or what's the most talked about subject, of course, is the church with this bishop, pastor, I don't even know what you want to call him.
They done called him so many names, I don't remember his name either.
I don't know. Whitehead, yes. Whitehead. Bishop, Bishop Whitehead. You know, this whole situation is unfortunate. One that a lot of people just logically can't look at that and go, something's not right here. Or that religion has taken such a stronghold on a lot of people's lives that people really are scamming. They're talking about making it rain on YouTube. People are really pouring into people, and they're utilizing their pain or their want for a better life or for a blessing to then profit from, which is ridiculous. But take a look at Bishop Pimp Daddy, whatever his name is, his prayer closet, and let's talk about it after.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Bishop Whitehead, and I'm gonna walk y'all into my prayer closet. This is my prayer closet, and one would think that, wow, look at your closet. Got all my priestly robes and more. Designer coats, you name it. Gucci, Louis, you name it. Fendi, you name it. More coats. And then when you walk into my shoe closet, every designer wear for days. But I didn't come on to talk about designer wear.
So what? You didn't come on to talk about designer wear, but that's what you spent the time to show. You are the voice of wisdom. I'll let you guide this one because I'm totally I don't get it.
First thing, he has all of that in that closet, and he couldn't get a Ring doorbell for that damn church.
Well, no, that's not his church. That's an event. That's an event space.
That's his church. That's an event space.
No, that's an event space.
No, it's a church.
No, that's an event space. No, it's an event space.
I don't blame him. He could have had a Ring doorbell on it anyway.
Yeah, he still could have had a Ring doorbell on it.
People could live in that closet, okay? Not that's
he
like two apartments.
He could have church in the closet. He could have church in that goddamn closet.
I don't know why I thought about R. Kelly when he said in the closet.
Right, trapped in the closet, right.
Trapped in the closet.
He could have church in that closet. He could have church in the shoe closet. Don't look like that many parishioners come to his church anyway. So this is what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't add up. No way that you have all of this lavish lifestyle, and that's what the house of God looks like.
Well,
that's the ministry
ripping off your parishioners,
right? That's the ministry that you're serving the people. And then not only that, like as many countless other people have said, because I've watched a lot of people commentate on this whole situation. You being flashy like that, or just having that, you put your parishioners at risk to being robbed or hurt or whatever, just for the simple fact that you're dressed like that. It doesn't make any sense. To me, all I can think of is this. This is what all I hear. Whenever I hear him, see him, I just think the next FBI, open up. That's all it's gonna be. It's FBI, open the fuck up.
Yeah, because let me tell you,
that's it.
They were down at City Zoo today. Yes, they were.
Right.
Had all the armament down there. I don't know who they were raiding, but they had a big raid that's about to happen. That happened today.
It's
I'm
just
probably riding up there to get his ass. Then you wonder why churches are empty.
Right.
You see
right.
stuff like this.
Yes.
And
why people don't have that part. That part is very true. And why people don't have the ability to trust the church and these pastors or these faith leaders, because they're out here scamming. Like, church is a hustle. Church is a hustle, for real, for real.
And you know what? I have never respected a pastor that didn't work.
Right.
Another
right.
job. Or
right.
if he didn't work, that he was out doing community service, not necessarily with his parishioners, but with the people in the area of where his church is located.
Where his church is located. Yeah.
That's what I mean. When I went to church.
Yeah, that's what right.
I'd see the pastor coming through the box. These people didn't even go, but he knew who the shut-ins were, who the elderly were, and they were all included, even though they did not participate
in the service.
The church.
Yeah.
So I look at all these freaky, all these people, them people. I mean,
the whole thing. First of all, the whole setup of the robbery or the alleged robbery looked sketchy.
Oh no, that boy in the back, that boy knew that. He probably thought.
That's what I'm saying.
He thought it was a dry run. That's what he probably thought it was. Because he ain't moved, he ain't flinched.
He didn't move. He didn't flinch. He didn't nothing. He just sat there and really just like, it wasn't even like, oh wow, we really got robbed. Like, even like no shock, no nothing. Just like,
you know how you just don't blink, because if you're afraid of blink, it might be it.
Right.
He didn't even do that. He was probably like, okay, we're gonna do this dry run. Oh shit, that was it. That was the real one.
Right. God damn, you could have said something. I mean, it's just really ridiculous. They have this lady on TikTok. She's been digging into a lot of his misdoings or things of that nature. You got King Jives over there still going at him,
his ass out
with this whole ring gate. He done been online, done found exactly the replica ring of the bishop, which is about $2,000. Because of course a true religious bishop's ring, you only get one, you don't get another. That's it, because you literally get buried with that ring. They had the whole ceremony of destroying the ring. That's it. You get the one ring and that's it. So how he was able to come up with another one, or shortly after,
and how he gypped that woman out all that money.
Yeah, have that one. It's a lot. It's really a lot. So I don't know what Bishop Smollett is gonna do, but
didn't that give you Jesse Smollett?
It did. It does. I don't know what Bishop Smollett is gonna do, but he need to get it together, figure it out quick. I don't know, but it's not looking good. What I didn't understand is how you did not think that this was going to garner attention that maybe you weren't expecting.
Oh yeah,
like digging in your history and really getting to the bottom of, was this an actual robbery or was this staged? Because my whole thing is this: if robbers were truly coming in there, and me being a New Yorker, they not just coming for the people with the money. They robbing everybody, because they don't want nobody to have nothing to call and say, oh yeah, there's somebody that just robbed our church. They're here. You know what I'm saying? They taking everybody's cell phone. They taking everything.
They're going through the whole thing.
The fact that they just went after them and didn't go after any of the other parishioners, ask for no cell phones, no nothing. Already screaming.
No wallets, no cash. Now you can keep the coins. You can keep the change. But
right. We're going to take your jewelry, but leave your keys to your Rolls Royce so you can go run down to your car and try to chase us, as he claims he did, or watch them change clothes in a Mercedes C-Class. So you watch them change clothes in a Mercedes C-Class, but you have no license plate for that vehicle. Right. I mean, it's just stuff that just don't make sense. It's just not adding up.
You know what's real funny? God uses the devil to shine the light on a lot of shit. Don't he?
Yeah, he sure does.
Because he played the devil on that one and exposed so much stuff.
So much shit. so much. And I mean, it's plainly obvious that man grew up without a lot throughout his childhood and growing up.
Just the way he
just the way he is. He didn't grow up with a lot at all. I mean, you can always tell those types of people because that's how they only believe that buying a label makes them important, makes them feel like they matter. And that's the sad part. And the fact that you utilize this to then gain attention of young people to kind of quote unquote bring them into the church. But then we see what you do to the young people that you bring into the church. You still utilize them to run your schemes as you use these young men to go in here. Because of course, now they're not going to know who these young people are because they were all covered up. Unless one of them actually tells and you get exposed, which I think is just a matter of time before that happens. But then again, and if it was true, you would have a lot more people behind you backing you. There's plenty of clergy in New York that if it was
they jumped right on out.
That if it was a legitimate situation, they would have immediately jumped out. But it just ain't smelling right. You're in an event space. You got all this money. Why don't you have a church? And if not for nothing,
that's because that is his church.
That's not. But if not for nothing, if you have all this money, why not have it at your goddamn house? You don't have that many parishioners. Many of churches have started in people's homes.
They could be right in that closet.
TD Jakes started his church in his living room. TD Jakes. I know you think, oh, really? You damn sure did. Down in Texas. So, I mean, using every space is rented. You going from this space to this space, and this is rented, that's rented, this and this, that, and it's just like, well, what are you doing? But you kind of make it look nice by all this flash and this thing, and you're the flashy bishop, the this and that. Come on, this stuff of wanting to be famous or this 15-minute fame shit is gone to people's heads, making them think that they're bigger than you are.
Exactly, is 15 minutes.
Yeah, thinking that you're bigger than you are, and then when the shoe fits, then it's everybody's attacking me. Everybody's coming after me. It's like, no, you put yourself out there. Know that when you put yourself out there, you got to be prepared for it all, not just the people praising you or oh, we just want to wish blessings on you, brother, for this that happened to you. But you have to the scrutiny comes too when people start really looking into the situation, because it's funny how the camera is straight ahead as you're preaching, and the minute that happens, it's just turns over a little bit enough where we can't see the situations and things that's going on behind the camera, which makes no sense. None whatsoever.
Star made a good point. Not even a collection plate, because I'd have been back there.
Right.
I'd have snatched the sacks and the money counting machine.
But there was this one lady that was on, I believe, on Jives' channel or somebody's channel I was watching, that said he didn't even do collection plates. He did Cash App.
He did Cash Apps.
Right. So it's like,
I guess that is that is the thing now, because we even have the Sweegie kids out on the corner. They do Cash Apps.
Wow.
They do Cash Apps. Oh, all the problems that we're having down here,
right.
With them. Because one came up to my car. I was like, I ain't got no money.
Right.
And he's like, you don't have nothing? I said, no, man. I said, I'm sorry, man. I ain't got nothing. He's like, well, here, I got a Cash App. I said, oh. I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
And they have like little cars with the little Cash App.
The little Cash App
thing on there.
Wow.
And I'm like, no, not so you can probably steal all my shit out my bank account. Fuck no.
Right.
I don't want you walking up on my car anyway. Smearing up my window, make my shit dirty or whatever it already is.
Then I got to go back and do it anyway.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
It's just really, really crazy. Like the more,
because see, if they do Cash App, all that stemmed from
Information.
when Rona was out there,
Yeah.
because you didn't have to come in. We can stream it on whatever, and you can just put it in your phone or get your grandkid to do it.
Yeah.
And that way we still get the money.
Yeah.
Church ain't nothing but a scam, man.
Yeah.
It is such a shame how it has gone from what it was
a
really
place of community building, caring, sheltering one another, feeding the community, doing all these things, to now it's just, oh, you know, if you sow these seeds, God will bless you. If you sow this $1,000, God will bless you. But God ain't gonna bless you if you give $1. God will bless you if you gave $1 or if you gave 2 cents. You ain't gonna get a bigger blessing because you gave more money. If you happen to have it to give, then that's on your heart to give. But all this, you know, give. Oh, this the powerful hand. This is God. What do you say? God's anointed hand as he was collecting this money. I mean, it's just really just so far out there. And then you sitting up here driving Rolls Royces and designer suits, which you know, no one really who wears a designer suit is ever going to wear a suit that has the labels on the material.
It does some country hillbilly shit.
Tacky as all hell, and
looking like a piece of luggage. Now, I bet you he got the matching luggage to go along with the
shit
suit.
About shit, because nobody who really can afford that type of stuff wears that.
No,
because
you know, it actually looks like a pimp. The motherfucker looked like a pimp.
Yeah.
And all of the people in his entourage that wore other designer suits, they look like pimps and shit.
That's all it is. That's all it is. And you go out to the community and you get your tricks. That's what it is. And it's sad and unfortunate.
I remember my mother-in-law, devout, whatever the hell she was, I don't know, Christian or whatever. But the church she went every Sunday and whatever. When she got sick, the motherfuckers ain't even show up.
Right.
And then when she passed,
then they
wanted to have it at the, wanted to have, because she had, I mean, she went to that church for like over 25 years, and go to Bible study, and they make all these pies and all that shit. And then they wanted to charge. Well, we do a offering. I said, offering,
right?
Because I'm ignorant. See, I'm ignorant because I see that motherfucker for what he is.
Right.
An offering? What the fuck you mean an offering?
And not just one offering. Oh, we have 2 and 3.
You should offer the services. You should offer everything. You got the kitchen and everything downstairs. You ain't got to worry about fucking nothing, man. You ain't got to worry about nothing.
But you still
matter of fact, don't even show up.
Well, you still have them pay. You still have them pay because they're, we're not going to charge them a lot. Since there's a faithful member, we'll charge $150, $200. But no,
you shouldn't charge anything. Nothing at all. Then that motherfucker had the nerve to come to the goddamn funeral.
Yeah.
Don't you let him? And I was like, don't you fucking let him get up there. Don't say shit.
But they do. No, AR, please.
I made that motherfucker feel bad. That's why.
Speak your piece, brother. Please speak your piece. Because I mean, I just personally know, I wouldn't be caught dead and no design or nothing with the labels on the fabric. I think that is absolutely the most tackiest thing known to.
Hey, big money grab.
No way. But definitely, anybody who wants to share their little 2 cents on thoughts on this story, you're welcome to join in. But other than that, I don't know. I just can't wait till the FBI and things start coming knocking. I see the mayor has stopped talking about it because
they shot down his. He wanted.
He wanted his proposal to carry a weapon because that was one of his things. The reason why he did it too, I believe, to kind of push this legislation of him being able to get a gun, because he can't get a gun because he's a convicted felon. So therefore he was trying to get a gun, and he thought of this plan to not only get some money, because of course that PPP loan is running low, that he thought he was going to, do this to kind of scam up some attention on the other side so he can get a gun. They shot that down as well. So, I mean, it's just the length to levels that he would go. Starting to make me think that did he not pay the dude in the subway to do that so he could then be the person to bring him in and put himself out there. I'm telling you, can't put nothing past these people that think like this. You can't put nothing past them because everything is done strategically for a moment. It's like, how did you know that man to be able to know him, to contact him, to turn him in? How did you know him? How did you know him? Or was it somebody off the street that you paid a couple dollars to do this?
Yeah.
And then let me do this and I got you. I'll take care of you. I'll pay you. Blah, blah, I'll give it to your family or whatever. You ain't got to worry about nothing for the rest of your life. Whatever he told them. Because it just doesn't make any sense. This is like, where would you know this man out of nowhere? Nobody knew you until this moment. Nobody's even heard of you till this moment. I have grown up in New York my whole life. I've been to more churches than I can care to even talk about, whether I was speaking, singing, or doing something. I never heard of this man ever. And I'm the most Baptist, Pentecostal / whatever person you would know. I never, ever heard of him ever.
I tell you one thing, he ain't small time. He ain't doing prayer clause.
Right. He might start making them while he's preparing for his next venture. It's coming. It is coming.
That is crazy.
Because it won't be Jesus. Okay, it won't be Jesus.
He's buying properties, and now does he have a wife? He doesn't have a wife.
Now, allegedly, see, I was watching King Jives today, and people were like, "Oh, marriage licenses are private record. You can't get that." Like, no, they're not. They are public record. No, however, you just have to, you have to go in and you have to. There's certain information that you do have to know in order to get it. So in that sense, I guess if you don't know,
no, they're doing it wrong. They need to ask Google because I could Google my shit and all my shit.
Right, and everything pops up. This is what I'm saying because the same thing was with same things with my mom because there was a situation that my biological father tried to say some shit, and I was like, no, you might want to go check that because I already checked it. It is what it is. So you might want to go back and check that. Do your research. But it is public record. Every situation where you have to get a license, whether it's marriage, death, your physical driver's license, all of that is public record. Now you may have to go through some little, filling out of paperwork or knowing particular things in order to obtain it, but it is still public record. So when they're like, "Oh no, it's not," oh no, it is public record. Your birth is a public record. You go down to the Hall of Records and you can get a birth certificate, you can get a death certificate, you can get any certificate in between, as long as you have the proper information. And what it costs,
and proper spelling on these names.
Yeah, on the names.
Lord knows,
right? Because that'll
make up some shit.
Right, because that'll do it too. Because if his last name isn't even Whitehead, and that's something he's using for publicity, then his marriage license to AKA Boomquisha, may actually be under their real names. Is the reason why people can't find them. But apparently right now there is no document. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's still married to the first wife, to be honest.
Probably. Did you see that press conference? It must have been people who just grabbed off the street.
Please, let's not even get started on the horrible. First of all, again, this is why it's just not adding up for me. If you have all of this money, why not have the press conference in a closed conference room?
They could have had it in that space.
As much as you have, you could have had it at a small conference space. I'm not saying you had to rent out the Waldorf Astoria ballroom or something like that. You could have had it somewhere small, near JFK at one of the hotels in a conference room where nobody had to hear the cars driving by, the motorcycles, the this, the that. And you're like, what the hell are you saying?
if there'd have been a drive-by while he was having that conference, I'd have been done.
That would have put the icing on the cake if he had somebody drive by and start shooting while he was doing that thing. I mean, it's just it really is just crazy, and the fact that he really thinks that no one is thinking past what he's showing. You know what I'm saying? Like the kind of what they call them, the slick oil salesman kind of routine, that kind of sideshow circus kind of sleight of hand shit that he does. And it's like, people, you're not okay. We all watching the same shit. Are we really all watching the same shit? How the reporters that either you paid or told to come there to ask particular questions, people start asking about the lady, the parishioner with the $90,000, who he claimed he wasn't going to talk about. Then they were talking about when he ran for his bid for it was either alderman or city council for the Brooklyn area, how that got halted because of a certain situation he was involved in. He didn't want to talk about that. So it's just a lot of things that are very sketchy that when you enter into a realm, not even politics per se, but even dipping your toe into that shit, if you don't have the backing for people to cover that up or kind of sweep that under the rug for you, there's no way you're going to escape it not getting exposed. And
I'll tell you one thing. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'll tell you one thing. All of those reporters, they were freelance.
Yeah,
of course. They look low.
They
look low to no budget.
They were sitting on the street ground, like ain't nowhere in the world. If you don't get your white ass up, that's how monkey that filthy, dirty people spat, people dog shit and piss, and you just sitting there Indian style, and you about to go up in the house and write up an article, sit your ass on the bed in them same damn shorts that you done sat in the street with. I was so disgusted. I was like, see, that's how that's your monkeypox right there. That shit right there.
Carried in on your ass.
Was it the borough president? No. Was it? No, it couldn't have been Starbella. No,
you're right. She's right. It was.
That's crazy. Not the Brooklyn borough president. That is crazy. Wait, so can the mayor be trusted? Which is a whole nother thing. Exactly. Now you start looking at, and this is why your 6 degrees of separation is important, because now you start looking at, if he can say, oh, he's friends with the mayor. Now you start looking at the mayor sideways, like, motherfucker, really? Is this the person you call your friend? So now we're starting to look into, well, what kind of connections do you have for real? Because I know the reason why you got in, because you're an ex-cop. And of course, there's all this pressure on policing, especially in places like New York City. So the police union would want to make sure that they put a police officer as the mayor of New York to kind of get the pressure off of them for their fucking police killing unarmed people. So that's what they were going to make sure to do. But then the issue is, what have you done, Mr. Mayor, kind of sneaky under the table with these, kind of in the street, out the street political people to kind of, get your capital flowing? That's the question. Because this mofo ain't getting all this just from preaching, hooching, and hollering, because that's not what he doing. And he could talk about how he has properties, and he's talking about he owns the block. What block? You know what that block looks like? Have you done a Google little thingy 360 and did a little spin around? That block looks just like what my mother would call Skid Row. It's a place in Queens, right in the back, kind of right behind or right before York College. And we used to drive by there. She'd be like, oh, here it goes down Skid Row. And I'm like, what's Skid Row? You got to watch Little Shop of Horror. And then when I watched it, I kind of got.
And they're not dancing and singing in the street.
Right. They ain't dancing and singing Old Seymour either. And if they scream for Seymour, trust and believe, Seymour is either the drug dealer and or the person that got the stuff. So it's just absolutely ridiculous, and I just feel like church in and of itself needs to take a deeper look in itself, because this is the type of stuff that is being presented.
Yeah.
When your parishioners riding around or taking the bus or Ubers, and you sitting up here in hundreds of thousands of dollars cars like that, that's just absolutely.
Yeah, that's the thing that tripped me out about the with the Larry the interview with Larry Reed and the young lady.
The interview that he made himself, because nobody asked him. Larry Reed was not interviewing him. It was him and the young lady. They were just giving commentary on what the fuck he said. So he felt the need to, and again, this is where it's not making sense to me. Something like that happens, that's traumatic. That's traumatic. First,
I'm not going to be out there discussing it like that.
You concerned about your family's well-being and your parishioners' well-being. No way are you sitting up on the internet like this. Who's talking about it? Who's talking about it? Oh, Larry Reed talking about it? Let me go.
He couldn't resist. He couldn't resist.
Yeah, but because he can't. He has to be, because he got to be.
He's a whore. He's a whore.
Right. You got to be.
We all know we all have whorish tendencies, but he's a whore. He's a whore. He's looking for that attention. Because now my name, and now I'm my pictures all over the place. That was in the beginning before.
Right.
As this stuff is starting to unravel.
Yeah.
Because everybody's starting to look into his background. But he's a whore.
But now they're attacking him. That's why I said, now I'm looking at the whole situation with the guy who shot up the subway. And you're like, why the fuck would you shoot up the subway? And a black man at that. You was black shooting up a subway, and then come to find out that this is the motherfucker that quote unquote turned him in. Did you pay that man to light up that subway just so you could have them call you and you could be the one to turn him in? So then you could be, because again, he tried to do that. And what did they call him? The blingy pastor. They immediately went to what he was wearing, and they didn't talk about, oh, look, he turned in the shooter. They totally missed that. They totally went by that. No, this blingy pastor, this hip hop bishop, he hated that because it didn't shine him in the best of lights. So he figured he'll try it again. This time he'll try it with a robbery, and then talk about how my wife and my child was held at gunpoint. And then miraculously today, if you go to King Giles, it's not to promote him so much, but cool. Of course, it's all right. Definitely check it out. But there's another picture of the other side of the church that we could not see.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no way in the world, if they way over there on that side of the church, on this side of the event space, did them people have a gun to that baby's head or his wife's face? Absolutely not. It's just because you couldn't see it. So of course he's gonna say anything. And again,
you're right. It's a Tyler Perry production. Tyler Perry, as long as Tyler ain't writing the shit, he may get some real writers.
Right.
And Medea doing that shit. But
this is more like an early Tyler Perry production. This is like Diary of a Mad Black Woman. When they have a microphone on their forehead with tape. That's that kind of production. When the microphone was sitting here like this and it was sitting like, hey, Jesus said, why the fuck do you have that shit on your head like that? But yeah, that's the type of production. It's just ridiculous. I can't. And I don't like to see, our people kind of manipulating our own people, but people do it. They got Dr. Uke Kuke. He does it all the time. The Delaware school man. And
now they're not even going to build that school.
Right, brothers and sisters.
Omar,
we got to make this place to. Yeah, I know. I don't like mentioning that cracker's name. He is just a cracker man in a black man's body. Just a waste of.
Well, it's all about this. But everything is about this, the driving force.
But that's the crazy part, that you again manipulate young black women who may not have men in their lives, not only fathers, not only uncles, but even the fathers of their children, to be models for their sons, that you will get them in this hope of creating this school where these black men and women can bring their children or their sons at this point, for the way he was going, to kind of create this atmosphere where they can grow up and be strong black men, right? And no mixed races, no what do you say, no mixed races, no gays, no this, no that. Yet every time you go around, or there's something spouting out about you having sex tapes with Spanish women or white women or something like that, or you in the strip club spending people's money at the shaky butt. I don't understand what the hell is going on with this kind of, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna shoot all these dreams at you, but yet I'm just slide me your money. Just slide you. If this ain't the most Wizard of Oz, the Wiz with the Richard Pryor face, and you come to realize that the motherfucker ain't nothing but somebody in some tattered clothes and a phony, a big fat phony. I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't understand these people and like the level or lack thereof of morality in this shit is just so crazy. Like I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. I really, really, really don't. You can go to, there's nothing wrong with, doing your time. You go to prison, you do your time. All right, you may come out and you may have found God. Cool. But you also found how to hustle people out of money, retirement. First of all, and I will say this, and I'm sorry for anybody who may feel offended, but you've got to be the dumbest thing on this side of creation to have worked as long and as hard as you have to accumulate $90,000 for somebody to say, oh, I could get you a house even though you got shitty credit. Just give me your $90,000 and I'll give you a stipend or whatever it was of $100 a month until I find you a place. Do you know the dumb could have took $90,000 that you were saving and cleaned up your own motherfucking credit and got your own motherfucking house? The lack of education of our own people is ridiculous. That you had $90,000 in savings and your credit was still shitty to the point where this man came along, took your $90,000 to himself, bought whatever he bought with,
and bought some more ugly ass suits. That's what the fuck he did.
Shoes. I mean, just ridiculous. Prayer closet ain't have a shit thing to do with anything about prayer at all. Ain't have a Bible in it, the first, no nothing regarding nothing of prayer, nothing but clothes and shoes and earthly shit. Last time I checked, the Bible I was reading, it didn't say nothing about Jesus had a walk-in closet. Didn't say nothing about Jesus had much of any of that. Last time I checked, Jesus was sharing his space with 12 other Negroes.
Sure he wasn't Hispanic.
Right. So, I just don't, like, I'm not getting it. I'm really not getting where all this correlates. And, this whole, Creflo Dollar had to jump back on his prayer preaching of tithing and all this. No, you're doing that shit because people starting to take notice. The CIA, the FBI, the IRS, all these people are taking notice because you're making all this money. Because see, that's another thing that he's walked himself into too. The reason why the FBI and everybody else is gonna be knocking on his door, because they starting to look at, well, you got all this. We ain't seen no taxes from you in
let's look at some paperwork. Let's see what's
2013
what's going on with these numbers.
Right. Yeah. Let's do a couple audits. Let's do some audits here. You got $1 million. You said you lost what? $1 million in $1 million? Okay. Well, we ain't seen that in taxes from you ever. Same thing happened with Tasha K. You don't think the IRS was sitting in that courtroom along with all them other nosy people to find out what the hell was gonna happen with they didn't care nothing about no Cardi B and how Cardi B felt about what Tasha K may have been spreading about her. They was all there about the numbers and the money and who's collecting what and how much money do you get for these. Okay. Because they coming. They coming. And he keeps flashing all these jackets and all these suits and these shoes. They are coming. They adding that shit up as they're looking. And especially you being a black man, a person knowing good and goddamn well they come for us first. Without question. They come for us. Ask Wesley Snipes. Ask Lauryn Hill. Hell, ask Little Kim if they didn't come for her ass. Who else you want to ask? Chris Tucker? Ask him too, because they came for him. We can go down the list. Yeah, it is. I don't know what it is. It actually is. It is like it's like a badge or something. I don't know what it is, but you're absolutely right with that. The luxury designer monogram print it has a chokehold on us as a sign of wealth or richness. And they don't do that. They don't do that. They really do not do that. They don't wear that shit. They don't wear shit with monograms and shit on them. It's like, can we get out of the mindset of being branded by slave masters for once in our lives? Can we grow up out that shit? We got a lot to overcome, people, and it's like nobody's helping. Nobody's helping. You motherfuckers are making it worse. Because goddamn, it just makes no sense. Yeah, but the IRS is definitely going to be on that ass, and I'm going to be here for it, along with the FBI and the knock, because it's coming. FBI, open up! Yep, so be prepared for that. It might even be Fire Marshal Bill might be in that motherfucker too, because yeah, this shit it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better. But trust and believe, the reason why you didn't see any clergy, and I know plenty clergy out of New York, especially Brooklyn, Queens area, that would have immediately gone to any press conference that that young man was having to support him. But of course, because people in New York know bullshit. Congressman Flake, or former Congressman Flake, would have been there with bells on, because he is, he all about putting his name or face out there for a quick camera op. He would have been out there had it been legitimate. But these people know this shit ain't. There's more to it. This shit don't even make sense. It don't even make sense at all. It's all either about you scamming to get money from the insurance company for these, for these jewels, and then trying to, again, get more thing for your name. And now that when I put 2 and 2 together, and it's just my theory that you keep talking about this man you brought to justice, the shooter in the goddamn subway shooting. I'm like, well, goddamn, how did you know the motherfucker? Did you actually put that nigga up to shoot in there? And because that was the deal, you get him to shoot him up and get away, and then he's going to come back to be like, hey, I brought him in. I turned the guy in. The shooter y'all was looking for, I know him. I got him to come in and turn it on. Could you put my name in the paper? Could you do this? Could you do that? And they clowned him because he looked like a fool. He looked like a damn fool. I think he knows the mayor, but do I think he's tied into the bullshit that he's doing? No. I think maybe he thought his little relationship or whatever he thinks he has with the mayor was going to kind of shield this from coming out, basically protecting, what he could, but realize the mayor has a limited power. Once the FBI and things of that nature start getting involved in stuff like this, it goes way above the mayor's head, And trust, if the governor don't like the mayor, trust, it's a lot worse. It's definitely a lot worse. So I can just imagine what that relationship is, and it's probably not pretty. So I mean, it'd have been nice if he would have thought about it a little more. He's here. Are you ready, sir? Okay. All right. Did you have to do an emergency landing? Was that?
Yeah. I was like, what the hell? All my shit is out. I don't know what the hell happened. I know what it was. It was that you were talking about that goddamn Creflo Dollar. That's what that shit was. Yeah.
Well, it's Creflo Dollar is the and I mean I ain't gonna leave the Joe Oisteens, and that's right, I said it, Oisteens. It's fucking, I ain't gonna leave his ass out of it either. He another one preaching all this kind of, it's all about prosperity, but yet you got this big old church and these people suffering outside of your church, and you don't want to let them in to save their lives because you afraid about the sanctuary being damaged. The fuck, like you don't have 20 times over to clean it.
Look, if that water had rolled in there, it still would have gotten damaged.
Right. Oh, that's because you didn't want nobody to find that money you had hidden in the wall.
Hidden in the wall. That's what that shit was.
Yeah. You didn't want nobody to find that cash hidden in the walls. But you see how God exposed that shit too. You had a leak in the bathroom. There was a leak in this old building. And that money had got to move. But yeah, that's again, they're far more. And I mean, it says it talks about these fake ministers, fake preachers, and people leading sheep, and they're wolves. So trust and believe, they out here. They are out here. And all the glitz and the glamour and the bling and all that stuff. So
that's the sad part. It's always the people that don't have anything that are the victims.
Yeah. Right. Again, you got victims paying victims. You know what I'm saying? Like these people, they get some money from somewhere, they create this image for themselves, and then they go out and rob people who are less than looking for and hoping for a better life or a way out. It's just ridiculous.
Okay.
Get out of your head. Yeah, they goddamn money in the walls. That's what it was. That's what he was worried about. He didn't want nobody in his church. He's like, they're gonna find my goddamn money. Yeah. And just real quick, everybody noticed that all the people that Oprah have put on, all the white folks, they all have some criminal shit behind them.
All the time.
Dr. Oz, not that much of a
you are a criminal, and you are a criminal.
You are crooked, and you are crooked. Dr. Oz is not that much of a doctor anymore. That kook, Jesus Christ. The power of Oprah. Goody goddamn. Am I supposed to click that one? Oh, you trying to see something? Okay. Uno momentos. Yep, clout and currency. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me just take this thing. You're double.
Oh wow. Can you imagine having two of me? Ah! That's some shit.
Two of you. Yeah. But yeah.
All the rotisserie.
Yeah. I mean, Oprah is a criminal herself. Yeah, I mean, granted, I don't put that much faith in Oprah anymore. Everybody's she had all this money, she's gonna do so much. She ain't done shit. There are other wealthy black people who have done far more for black people than Oprah has done with the amount of money that Oprah has. That chicken bitch ain't done shit but sit there and waste people time and waste Stedman time too. But I guess, of course, he said, fuck that shit. He getting the money too.
He in
that shit. Him, Gail, all of them just in it. But whatever. Yeah, I can't stand her. Oh, y'all share the same birthday? Oh, poor you. But happy birthday to you and fuck her. All that goddamn money. Can't believe that shit. Now, that's one thing I could agree with Monique on. Fuck her.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Speaking of Monique, she finally got her Netflix deal.
Why did you have to do that? I just don't feel like, granted, I get it. You do all that protesting against it. It's like, even if you won the court case, walk away, do your own production, or find another person, not find another thing to do it. And you tell them, ain't this some shit? Yeah, because to me, it just, granted, when we could agree to disagree, but to me, it just felt like you did the shit to make some noise, to they started to notice and whatever. And yeah, you may have been wrong, which I'm not doubting that, but you made some noise, and then it's like, okay, it's almost like a little kid. You go, mom, can I go outside? No. Then you start bugging enough to like, go ahead, go. And you're like, okay, thank you. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, ooh, I'm outside. It's just like, what was the point of that? What was the point?
All I kept thinking about was how Netflix isn't doing that great now anyway.
Right, anyway.
And by the time she get up there, the ship in the folded.
Right. Be done tanked. I mean, they got more international films in a little bit. They don't even really have any films that
and that's what's killing them. What's killing them.
Because
American folk don't want to read no closed captions.
Closed captions, yeah. You got to be in the mindset. I mean, granted, I don't mind it but as long as I'm in the mindset that I know immediately that I'm going to watch it, and it's either going to be fake American accents dubbed over to where Portuguese, but they kind of and their mouths still be moving a little bit when they finish. Or you're like, this okay, this seems foreign. So it's really silly to me. It's like, you do all that for what? If you're going to do all that and make a statement like that, stand in that, then you walk away and say, you know what? Thank you for proving me right. I'm gonna take this money and I'm gonna go do my own thing. But no, for you to be like, ain't this funny, y'all? I'm on Netflix. Ain't this some shit? And I hope don't nobody watch that shit. Just for the simple fact that you did all that shit to get them to give you some money and then turn around and sign with them anyway. Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, that's a mess. A mess.
Just a total mess. Total mess.
Did you give them the update on the Beyonce?
Oh no. So okay, of course there was this whole Beyonce thing with this new album that I've listened to briefly. I'm not a big Beyonce fan. It's only like one album that I really listened to, and I think that was 4 that I was even had like that, other than listening to like a song here, a song there. So there's the part where there's kind of Khalees. I don't want to say it's the La La part in the milkshake, but it's
you would miss it if you didn't know it was there and you weren't looking for it.
Right,
you would have paid it any attention.
It's a part in there that I'm thinking. Granted, it may have probably been used or wanted to be used, or maybe a clip of something that she was doing when they was making probably that beat or another song that Pharrell had. And it was like, well, she ain't gonna use it, so I'll give it to you. Now, granted, as artists as in the words of Erykah Badu, she's an artist and she's sensitive about her shit. And so, like many artists, people just want to be acknowledged and to be asked, hey, can I use your background for this, that, and the other, or so-and-so, let me listen to a background of yours that he had from years ago, and I would like to use it. Granted, she's claiming that's all she wanted to get was some acknowledgement. However, the little piece was used anyway. Now, do I personally know if Beyonce knew it was Khalees on there? Probably not. Did Pharrell know? Hell yeah, because it's Pharrell.
You hear one La La. Yeah. You've heard them all.
Right. I mean, he made it. So, of course, I would believe he would know who's in there. But apparently, Beyonce, from all this, talk of Khalees being in there and her stealing or taking Khalees' voice without her permission and putting it in the record, she has released the latest addition to this song by taking Khalees out.
La 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 la.
Now warm that up. Now warm that up, bitch. Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like yeah.
I like how it was done. There was no need of going through all that and all this crap back and forth on Twitter.
No back and forth. Just take it out. Just I
just
can
take
go
the shit out.
I can go to the studio tonight and do it over.
What's real funny is and see if anybody misses it.
Right.
Can you tell me where in the song
was it? Right.
Was it?
Where
you even miss it? You don't even miss it.
Right. Now find that. Find where it was. Where is Waldo kind of situation? But
that's exactly what she did. La 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 la. That she'd have put that shit in the tweet, I'd have been done.
To me, it sounded different anyway. But whatever.
It just sounded like.
It sounded similar,
like,
yeah.
Like most
same thing?
songs, especially nowadays, most songs they sample so much.
Yeah, I mean,
you just hear that you can
there's
refer
other
to
shit that I would have felt that she would deserve to be dragged across the coals with, other than that little bit, like
it would
Frank and Beverly, the Amazing Beverly song thing that she did, that disaster. I think they should have dragged her for that. But what do I know? The church people like it. So I mean, I guess.
I listened to the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't.
It's a nice little bop.
I wasn't impressed. I wasn't like, oh my god. Like, I mean, I'm not a,
Well, you know what, too? You're not a Beyonce stan. Because I'm sure all the homosexuals knew all the words to every song on the first day of the release.
Right. Within the 24
hours. They were all sitting in the house sipping on mimosas.
They still doing it. All you see is people going, sing, bitch. Beyonce, sing it. Go, bitch. You're just like, what is she?
Everyone.
A lot of it was, kind of sampled stuff. And I get it. Puffy kind of ushered that door into the sampling montage, and then everybody just kind of ran with it. Now you have
but then it's so damn heavy-handed with it. It's like nothing really feels original.
Yeah, well, I mean, I follow this guy on TikTok. He does a lot of R&B singers, old ones, like, and then he pulls the actual songs, and then go, "Did you know that so and so song was actually a cover? Like a lot of Luther Vandross's songs were covers.
Yeah, we're covers, older than that, the standards. You had standard songs, and every artist, it was their job to take it and make it their own.
Yeah, and kind of like, I didn't know that. So it's like, oh, you mean Smokey Dion sung that song "House Is Not a Home" before?
Back in the 60s.
That's what she sounds like now that she smokes Newport.
That's a blunt. Dion don't fuck that shit. She got her little body. She like, Vanessa, I wonder what kind of bag Dion has.
That's crazy.
But I mean, they sample so much they get kind of heavy-handed with it, and it's like it doesn't feel original. Now it's a nice little, it's a nice little dance. Do people even dance anymore?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, you would back in the day.
Yeah,
you would dance so you literally sweat.
Yeah, I'm sure, but no,
and everybody be full of monkeypox. That's probably what happened too. All that shit. See that? It was a perfect storm. Perfect storm. Everybody's out there, run up and down, out in the club. Now they got Beyonce. All these motherfuckers gonna be pocked up big time.
I will stay away. Thank you.
The sample. Yeah. But all that because she didn't get, like I said, Khaleesi's issue was with Pharrell.
Yeah, right, and I agree with that. Her issue was with Pharrell. Like, to bring Beyonce into it to an extent, it's kind of like because first and foremost, she could have listened to it, and of course she's not that big where she wouldn't know who Khalees is, but to know whether it was cool for her to use it or not, I'm not sure if she really knew, because I'm sure Pharrell was like, well, it's mine, so
you know what they probably did. they probably did the tracks and whatever. She probably didn't listen. She probably listened to the final cut.
Right.
And she probably paid that shit no
No
attention
mind.
either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They gave her whatever original part or the beginning part. She wrote her little doohickeys, or they, went over with just that, and then they put it together. When they finished it, they was like, "Oh, I like it." All that kind of deep, kind of this sounds like Khalees. The only people that would know that would be the engineers. Truthfully, like I really don't think Beyonce is that. I mean, granted, I'm not saying she doesn't have an ear, but she ain't that.
No, she may not even. They may not even have
she
even
spark me as the person.
Because a lot of times they're not even in the same buildings.
That's what I'm saying.
They're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
They will send those tracks back and forth.
She's singing her thing. She's singing her part in probably her own studio, and then she sends that to whomever, and then Pharrell works on it a little bit, sends it back, and I don't like this. I sound a little pitchy here, or could you, and they kind of do that till it's completely finished. So who knows when that was added, or if she knew it was added at all, which I don't, and I get it. Khalees, people should be honored and respected enough to where in which the original artist is asked or given some kind of homage to.
Yeah, I mean, she could have just done the same thing she did with Robin S.
Yep.
That's all. Yeah, Pharrell owns the masters.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Pharrell owns it. It's up to him. It's his.
But it's usually a common courtesy because you see with a lot of older artists.
I mean,
that they just acknowledge this song, but it's not even the whole song.
Really? No. We sound like the Beehive right now. No way. That's what AR said. No way. But I'm just saying, I just don't, like the reality.
Don't tell them motherfuckers come over here. We ain't talking bad about the girl. Even though, and I'm not a fan of hers.
Yeah, no.
I was more of a fan of hers with the group.
Right.
They had more. To me, they had more dimension. Her stuff. But matter of fact, let me make all the motherfuckers mad. You remember Anne Marie?
Yeah.
Is that her name? The singer?
Yeah.
She actually I think she came out before Beyonce went solo.
Yeah, she did.
That's her style. I think Beyonce took her style.
Yeah.
I really do, because that's the first time I've ever seen anybody. I was like, oh, okay, God, I can't remember the damn name of the song that she did, but it was
there's a few of them, but yeah, I know what you
I'm still stepping to that, and I was like, oh, okay, and I kept saying
they came out right.
I thought it was Beyonce, because I actually confused the two, because I didn't see who was singing. Then when I saw, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Beyonce had just gone solo or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? They steal so much.
Yeah. But definitely, it's a lot. It's a lot. It is definitely a lot. I don't. I mean, the truth is the truth. It is Pharrell. Pharrell owned it. I mean, granted, a lot of those producers and people, had a Puffy mindset. And
that was long. That's even long before Puffy. That's always been like that.
You
especially
sign
with
a
black
crappy deal just to get on, and that's it. You that's it. You sign on, and you're not thinking about longevity and masters and what this could mean.
For a lot of them didn't own their masters.
Right.
Shit. Anita Baker just got her masters
back. Yeah.
Just got her masters.
So,
but a lot of them weren't even thinking on that caliber. Especially when you're young, you get that. All of them seem to get that same little shitty deal.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, sir?
What's going on?
Hey. Oh Lord.
Y'all not gonna do my good sis Khalees. Listen, this is my whole take on it, because I hear a lot of people saying the whole, well, Khalees doesn't own her masters. She doesn't own the publishing. Pharrell did, and Beyonce did the right thing business-wise. But, to my understanding, Khalees was credited on that as if it was a feature, right? So if it's two parts going. like clearly you knew about that song. Like somebody had to make you aware. Like I was adding that song and then something dealing with Tina Marie, right? Gave them the credits. You put their name in there, so it's like, are you going to give the artist respect? Or like if you like Khalees and you said that you wanted to sample this song, even though you don't own the masters, it is a common courtesy to say like, hey, look, girl, I know you don't own your masters, but I just want to give you a heads up that, you know, I'm using your song and I would appreciate your blessing off of it. She doesn't have to, but it's like, what are you really doing now? Like, are you doing it for the love of that song, or are you just saying screw everybody else? Because somebody down in the comments made a point about Prince not owning some of his songs, but they still gave like Prince a credit of like, you know, past Byron or something.
Right. Songs that he's wrote.
Like Anita Baker got screwed over, but I don't really see somebody, or I would look at it as really screwed up. It's like, I want to sample Anita Baker's song, or I want the part where she's singing on it. And I acknowledge that this is Anita Baker, but I put it on as like a feature, or just use it like, screw her. I went through the people that like own the stuff. Like these contracts are so predatory to like 9 times out of 10 Black artists are going to get screwed over. So that whole you should have read your contract thing, I feel like out the window. We get ourselves in situations, stuff end up happening. You trust people when you're not supposed to. With the whole Diddy situation, I think it's more so like out of respect, and if you love the song, that's why you sampled it. So at least give the, and I think that's where Khalees' anger came from. Like I would look at, for me, I would look at anybody crazy that would like take a song, you say I want to sample it because I like that.
Right.
You actually released this song, but like everybody's looking at it as a feature, but like you didn't say anything to the artist. Like nothing at all. Like we kind of even cover this sometimes where we get like outraged when people do like biopics of movies.
Right.
We were like, wait a minute, y'all did this movie and y'all didn't even like go reach out to said person.
Yeah. But sometimes they can't. Sometimes even if they do reach out, there is, you know, there's stipulations as far as what they can use or what they can't use, that they wind up not even being able to use it, so they don't actually put that person or that music, like Aaliyah's biopic.
Okay, so I was going to mention that because a lot of people were on the side of like, yeah, there's music that you can't use, but at least reaching out to the family, getting some type of input or saying something, we would look at that crazy. So like, Khalees, I feel like did word some things wrong, like it was Steph. Like it wasn't Steph, but I think it was more so the overarching theme of like, I didn't get any like nobody said anything to me. Like at the end of the day, that's still my voice.
Right.
So at the end of the day, whether he owns it or not, what was crafted came out of my mouth.
Right.
And from my understanding, Pharrell didn't write anything, get any writing credits, but Khalees, I know did writing like back in the day.
Right. Yeah. Because her first album was fire.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's what I just wanted to cover, because I feel like a lot of energy, not saying y'all, is coming because it's Beyonce, and they'll do it with like Beyonce.
Oh yeah.
Or something, but you do that to any other artist you respect, and then it'll be like all hell break loose. Let Beyonce lose her damn masters today or tomorrow. Come along 20 years from now, sample or stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, the people, the beehive, and everybody.
Yeah. Like YouTube don't even play that. Like if you try to play her stuff, it'll go black real quick.
Made a good point. She was like, this, like you speak all this stuff, or just anybody in general, about talking about women empowerment.
Yeah.
Hey, like Pharrell did do a thing years ago about artists being ripped off and they should like rework their contracts and all this.
Right.
But then you know that you just gave a song to somebody else.
Right.
Literally was it the prime example of what you were talking about then with Beyonce. Like it is this air of like women empowerment, and I'm
right.
Girls, but like you can even give this girl a courtesy. Like I don't know if they have a pass, but
right.
Like if you did, I wouldn't have used the damn song. If I feel about reaching out to her, you could have easily did something else. And like Nate said, I haven't listened to it yet, but like it seems like everything going off without a hitch without it, right?
Right. I mean,
you know, if it wasn't that big, I just wouldn't, or even I was close with this too. Even like Khalees said, if it wasn't that big a deal because you went through the channels, but it was a big enough deal for you to like put me in the credits, but reach out to me,
right?
Something, smoke signal,
right?
Your shit, I don't give a fuck what you gonna say about it, but I just wanted to let you know. Bye, like
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
So that's what I have to say.
All right. Well, thank you for your 2 cents. I appreciate it.
How I get out of here?
I got you. All right, Bucky, so you have something you want to add to the conversation?
Hey, Captivating Christian.
Hey.
I was trying to figure out, like, the thing about it is, it's like people don't know that Khalees' music was stolen. Like Pastor Nate said, if she didn't. It was bad content. I'm sorry, Nate. Yeah, it was bad
I'm not holding.
Well, I see Captivating Christian now, honey. I'm ready to make me something too. Okay.
Right. Okay.
But yes, it's not like she didn't know that it was a bad contract. So the thing about it is, let me say this. From the aura that I was getting from Khalees don't like Beyonce. You can see it all in her.
Exactly,
I seen that. And there's so many people in the industry that don't like Beyonce because she thinks she's this queen, but they scared to speak up because of her fan base and how everybody else look at her. So I'm just saying she was deserved her just due. Like that's like you going to Gucci and buying you a Gucci bag and Gucci coming in your house to take it just because he made it. Hell no. Yeah. You're not going to take my stuff because you made it. No, but that's her voice. That is her voice. They stole it from her. Like you can't say you like Prince. You will never find anyone sampling Prince's music anywhere, nowhere. Prince was totally against that. He had everything stolen from him in the beginning. Why? Because of a bad contract. He even had his name stolen from him.
Right. Yeah,
he had to come back as the artist formerly known as Prince.
And he had everything written.
So I'm just saying, like, and when people will go to the labels that own Prince music to try to buy it, of course the labels would say yeah because they wanted the money, but they also went to Prince and Prince said no, and guess what? They didn't use it.
Right.
So why can't Khalees get that same thing? Like, and then another thing
is the industry is different now, though, too. Also,
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. Like back in the day, that was music industry 101 because they knew a lot of people music was stolen from them. It happened to Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I'm just saying right now the industry is cutthroat and Beyonce fan base is cutthroat because I want to also say something about this. Remember when Beyonce made the song Brown Skin Girl? And I found so much hypocrisy on the internet. It just didn't make any sense because when Beyonce made Brown Skin Girl, and what's the baby mom? She made a song called Yellow Bone. So I'm like, how y'all tripping because she was saying a yellow bone and Beyonce is talking about brown skinned girls. What's the difference?
Right.
I personally didn't find anything wrong with her saying she's a brown skin. I mean, he won a yellow bone because she's yellow. We got people out here that say she chocolate, she this, she that. Why does it have to be colorism? But it wasn't colorism when Beyonce made a song called Brown Skin Girl.
Yeah.
I'm a brown skin girl. That's my son on that picture. My son is light, real light. But I just didn't think that it was colorism. I don't think that that's fair at all. And like I said, Beyonce can do no wrong. And I don't care what nobody say. That's why I don't listen to her music. Her music puts her fans and people that like her in a trance. And I don't understand what is going on, why they can't understand right from wrong. but it's because she got a hold of them. She whatever the hell she doing, it's working because she got these people walking in circles behind her. It's just very weird with the hypocrisy with Beyonce to me. Like I just don't understand it. Like nobody think that it's weird that there is no spottings of Beyonce or her kids. How the heck she pull that off? How does she pull that off with TMZ in 2022?
She lays low and she doesn't address the things that
and that's what I do like about Beyonce, that she don't address nothing. That's the one thing that I do like about her. She not on this internet acting a fool for nobody, not even for her fans.
Right.
But this is not the first time that Beyonce stole from somebody. I watched somebody interview. His name was Highly Favored something. And he had a songwriter on there, and how this songwriter was saying how her music is stolen and she's not appreciated enough. You know, Neo and Beyonce went through something over the song Diva, because Neo wrote that song, and Beyonce felt like couldn't nobody make the song what it was but her, so she didn't want to give him his credit on the song.
Right. Yeah.
Neo said, "Nah, I know you don't. You gonna give me my credit."
Well, I mean, I think a lot of artists that get to that status do that. Like Lauryn Hill did that.
Yeah, you're right.
Did that. All of her, people think she wrote Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, which is her
biggest, one of her biggest
only selling album ever.
It's 45 years later. She's still riding that wave.
Right, she's still riding that wave, but she didn't write the songs on there. Although for many years, a lot of people, including myself, thought she wrote every song.
I thought she wrote.
Yeah. I thought she wrote it
too at one point in time. Anymore.
Right, but some people know that that's industry. Like back in the day, they knew that was industry 101. You alert the artist that music was stolen, and then you alert the people that you have to pay for, the people that owns it. It's just I can't take the hypocrisy. It's just too much. Yeah, it was Irreplaceable. Okay, I'm sorry. One of them songs, honey. But Beyonce don't write a lot of her songs, and she been not writing her songs, just like Cardi B. She don't write her songs. She just delivers it well.
Right.
That's the only thing. She delivers it well. That's all. But child, I got my folks trying to call me on this line. Thank you for having me on. Oh, Captivated Christian. I wanna talk to you next time you have your politics, honey, because I want to know. Well, I want to pick your brain about President Joe Biden, because I remember all the stuff you were saying about him, and I knew from the beginning. See, this is what I tell people. See, I study African American and world history, so you couldn't just come. I know you probably been in politics, but I've been telling people this for years. You cannot just come into politics at 2020 or 2021 when y'all want Trump out, because y'all don't know people. A lot of people didn't know the history and how corrupt he was back in the day. Like nobody knew that, but every time, and Kamala too, every time I said something, listen, they messed my social media up because I was posting all of the stuff from the 70s, from the 80s, from the 60s. A lot of people didn't even know that Joe Biden made history. He was the youngest Senate ever to be appointed to Congress. A lot of people didn't know how many times he ran for president and why was the reasons that he did not win, because he didn't like African American or black people. That's why he didn't win the first couple of times he ran. But
we have a short memory. That's why.
Well,
our attention span. African Americans have a very short attention span, because I was asking my mom, like, you was alive around this time, so why you think that Joe Biden is just this?
But again, remember, that's what everybody was saying when Barack Obama picked him as the running mate. Everyone was like, why you pick Joe? Why you pick Joe? Why you pick Joe? But the reason why he had to pick Joe, because he had to pick somebody that white folks were going to be president.
Yes, just like Joe Biden picked Kamala, she's not good for the job. She's just black.
I mean, that's all it was anyway.
Everybody running around with these pearls and chucks and black girl magic, and look where the hell we at now.
But then you have to look at the fact that the way media now plays. Back then, we did not have.
Yeah, we didn't know
all that.
The media controls people.
You didn't even know what they looked like.
Yup.
Unless you saw them in the paper. Every now and then you might see them on the news. But see,
they control,
now
like the media, they control people's thoughts now.
That goes on.
I don't understand why, just because another thing, I found the video of Charlemagne. I found see, I do my research, baby. And I don't just go to the internet, baby. I got encyclopedias. Okay. I still do encyclopedias. I sure do. I still do encyclopedias. I got a gold set of encyclopedias that my grandma left me. I would never in my life get rid of.
Right.
But yeah, you have to do your research. Oh, that's me on the screen. You have to do your research. You gotta do your research. Yeah. Like, and then when people, I don't understand why people, like, especially black people, why black people don't take warnings from their own people. Like, I got beat down so bad during election time just trying to warn my people of what was going to happen.
Well, because a lot of times it is just the lesser of two evils. But
why? But if it's that, like, why can't we just? Why do they like they say white supremacy? These white people ain't got nothing for us. It's historically they never did anything for us. Why did they think it was just going to happen now? I was trying to tell people this is not what's going to happen. I would send people videos and they would still look at me funny, like, girl, you tripping, you crazy. He ain't gonna do this. He ain't gonna do that.
Well, we've always said, even from the beginning, that he was just to put a Band-Aid on what was happening. He's not
right.
He was never there Trump. To be.
He's Trump light.
He's Trump light because he is Trump, but he's not as harsh as Trump. So there's no mistaking that. And I think a lot of people got caught up in it just because he happened to be Barack Obama's, vice president.
Right.
So there was a difference. And it's like, no, there is no difference in him or Trump. The only thing is that he won't do the level of Trump that Trump will do. He is Trump light. He's like that grandfather that, you sit him at the table. If you bring your little black boyfriend or girlfriend, he may say something disrespectful, but it's not going to be like, get that nigga out of my house.
Yeah.
That's true, but I always thought, listen, when I moved from Philadelphia to South Carolina, and the gas in Philadelphia was always $2 to $3, and that was at its low. Child, when I moved to South Carolina and I seen the gas for $1.79, I could not believe it. I said, oh yeah, this is where I want to be. Yes. And it's just so weird how we at $5. Like, I don't care what nobody say. I can't stand Trump. I don't like him, and I don't want him as president then or now. But baby, I was a lot more richer. We had a lot more. Okay.
See, but that's the illusion that is given. Of course, when you give a tax credit, like when a tax credit is given, that's taking money, right? So you take money. So of course it looks like surplus. It looks like extra. You like, oh, okay, I got all this extra money. And then it's like, okay, it's like a credit card. You charge it now, you pay for it, you got it. It's yours, right? But then what happens when the bill comes? The bill comes.
You looking like that.
You enjoyed that $1.75 gas,
right?
But you're not going to be able to retire because they're pulling it from somewhere.
Yeah, so
it's coming from somewhere. Ain't nothing free.
Yeah, the money always comes from somewhere, and when that bill is due, that's when they quickly, and that's the thing that kills me about Republicans. That's when they quickly want to talk about being financially fiscal and all this kind of stuff.
And baby, and I'm here to say it. If them Republicans get in, listen, I'm independent. I've never been Democratic or a Republican. I'm independent because I always remember. I'm 35 years old, and I remember vividly me being in the 6th grade. I always was into politics and world history. I remember my 6th grade teacher telling me, Black people, African American people only vote Democrat. And if I had the mind frame when I was in the 6th grade and I got near, I really want to ask her, like, why does she think that only Black people can vote Democrat? Like, why can't we vote for the party that we think is going to serve us best? Why is it the stigma that Black people only can vote Democrat, or we are shunned from the community? Or other people.
Yeah, I get that. And that comes with education and knowing the true history, one, of the parties, and two, of where your values line. Because it's like that's the beauty in voting. You can vote for who you want to vote for. My thing is that you vote. I prefer you not throw your vote away, because through the freedom of voting for whoever you want to vote for, people have died. People have died for less, just to have the right to vote for whomever they wanted to vote for. So when we take this attitude of, oh, I'm not voting anyway because it doesn't matter. No, vote for someone, because you'll end up with someone you don't want if you don't vote. And then two, what they're doing now to suppress the vote is really making it hard for people of color, Black, white, or whatever, to vote, to the point where they want to keep the power amongst themselves. And trust and believe, if we get to that, you can just see what a taste of that would be. You see what he tried to do on January 6th, what he was pushing to do on January 6th. If they just get a little more power and a few more people to just be like, forget the laws, we'll do what we want to do, we could be looking at a new Hitler, a situation that we have never experienced.
Now, Catherine Ray, let me ask you this. Now, did you hear about, I told you I'm in the world history, honey. I look at everybody, Australia, China. Did you see what happened in Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka. Yeah, when they protest in the prime minister's house and agreed not to leave the prime minister's house until he agreed to leave office. But again,
some people was in the pool.
Yeah, they burnt the
prime minister. They burnt the prime minister house down and took over the president house. They was showing the president's underwear.
Yeah, they were in there. They were in there.
And he was sneaking. Wasn't he sneaking off on a boat somewhere?
I'm trying to find out, like, that, y'all, when it's called that an insurrection? Why wouldn't people call that an insurrection? Nobody got killed.
It would be, but they don't have the, like, how we police.
Yeah, they don't got the government that we have.
They don't police like that. So just in natural, in how they would naturally protest, the police won't, they make sure that there's order as far as nobody killing, nobody in that regard. But if they're going to have a peaceful protest, they will allow them to have a peaceful protest. If that will embark on the president's
but they burned down, you think it was peaceful when they burnt down the prime minister house and they swimming in the president's pool and taking selfies in the president's bed?
Right, but no, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying
can't even use it as an Airbnb.
Right. They don't have the level, that we have here of policing certain things, of safeguarding certain things. Like you try to get near the president's house. I don't care if it was as many people out there as there was in Sri Lanka.
You have police, but also understand
if they go over here, they would be dead. Absolutely.
Yeah, these countries, a lot of these third world, they would have no problem calling in the military.
Right.
And killing everything that moved.
But see, I'm trying to
go from one far extreme to the other.
Right. Do y'all remember when the Roe versus Wade was overturned, and we had AOC in the streets? We will fight. We will overturn this. This is women's rights. Right. That's the same thing that Trump said. Them people just didn't act and go fight it like she was saying. So I'm trying to find out. And another thing is, now listen, like I said, I don't like Trump. I don't deal with Trump. I don't want him for president. I never did. But I'm just being fair. They're
white men and women. When white men and women are victimized, they're allowed to show out and act out.
They are victims. And see, another thing is that, like, I really don't think that it was. Listen, like I said, I don't deal with y'all. I don't want them. I don't like them. I just never could because he's a predator too. But anyway, and he stole his election too. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, I just don't think that like everything that they doing, especially in the space that we are in right now, they are using our tax dollars to pay for the January 6th hearings. They are using our tax dollars, sending it to Ukraine, supporting them people when people are here dying. We got children that are here in hoods dying every single day, and they are out protesting on Roe versus Wade about children that's not even born yet. Why can't y'all help the children that are being abused or being harmed or killed? Bring some type of community watches or things like that. But they are worried about children that's not even born. I'm not one to say about a woman's body, because I'm gonna do what I want to do, even though I wouldn't do that. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I don't support anybody else doing what they want to do. But it's just so much hypocrisy in this world. How can they tell us that we have to get a shot with our body, that it's mandatory, we got to, but y'all want these people to y'all are telling these people that they can absolutely kill. But if you didn't get the shot, you mass murderers. But people that get abortions is not saying that they're mass murderers, but they're still murderers. And I support, again, I support abortion. I am pro-abortion. I am pro-choice, pro-women's body. Keep your hands off. Same thing with the mandates. Keep your hands off. Why can't we make our own decisions, just like you can make a decision to kill a whole child?
Well, first of all, you have a race of people who are in their death throes because their numbers are dropping.
Right.
You have to pay attention to what happened in South Africa. All the whites there, they were outnumbered. Right. Number wise. So you had 10% governing the 90%. And you also have to have an underclass. How do you expect to make your money? That type of thing. So it's a lot of things that go on.
Right. There's a lot of variables.
It's not just one, and it's been going on forever. Yeah. But now it's getting to that point because they're at the tipping point of where they're really trying to force this whole pregnancy. They want to get these numbers up, and you will also see other races like Hispanics, Cubans, that will now be included into the white fold.
White fold, yes.
Because Italians and Irish weren't considered white.
Right. Very true.
Just so that they can boast. It's a numbers game.
Right.
And some things you just can't. We can't hide our blackness. That's why it makes us a perfect target. We can't hide our blackness. Native Americans can't hide their their brownness or redness or whatever.
You mix our blackness in with anything, you're gonna see it. So
and that's why I told all the brothers going down to Texas, start making some pretty brown babies. Dilute the race,
Yeah, but it's a lot of variables that play into a lot of it. That we, have to be mindful of. Granted, we could spend a whole nother hour on the stuff that we always talk about with the January 6th and the ALCs of the world. But the reality is the reason why I even lean to more towards ALC's voice is because she is from the same, walk of life that we all live in. A lot of these politicians, what we fail to realize, they have been in those seats for decades and have millions of dollars. So they have no idea what's on the ground for real. So a lot of the stuff that they talk about, it's like, Who's going to see that?
Yeah, you almost have to take it with a grain of salt. Look at Mitch McConnell.
Right.
His remark that he said about people not returning to work, people not going to work because of the
PPP
stimulus loan, the stimulus gave that little stimulus check. So he thinks people are just rotting and can live off of what, $1,200?
$1,200, yeah.
Where the real fact is, the reason why you have so many job openings is because millions of people have died. So you have all these job openings, and you don't have the people to fill them.
Right.
See, but they'll never say that because that makes them look bad because their response was so slow and so raggedy.
Right. Yeah. I really want Candace Owens to prevent that.
Yes.
Her
shit. There's no
her hair looking like sheep's wool or sheep's ass. I don't know what to do.
Sheep's ass.
Yeah.
Have you seen those sheep with the big voluptuous asses?
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Her hair just always looks a hot ass mess. And as much shit as she talks, you would think that she would go get it done. But yeah, no. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to it. Like I said, I always promote voting because voting is important. No matter who you vote for, just that you vote. But the idea is that you learn the platforms of the people that are running. Learn the platform
and vote your interest.
Vote your interest.
Just because you say that you're a Democrat or a Republican doesn't mean that you necessarily have to vote in those blocks.
Right.
Vote your interest.
Right. And I agree. Yeah, she wants radical change and not just fluff and not just talking about it. It's about going out and actually doing the work. When you know what doesn't work or what's not working because you just finished working a shift and seeing or struggling to make ends meet.
Yeah, because she was a waitress.
She was a waitress and doing other things right before she got into Congress. So we talking to somebody who, knows what it's like compared to someone who has had millions of dollars to this one is so out of touch with what it's like to be an everyday American that we can sit here and talk about, child care. Okay, but what about the people who can't afford child care? We're sitting up here talking about child care credits, but what about the people who can't afford it? And you closing down daycare centers with people who can't afford at least to take their children there. They're closing. So now what they're supposed to do? It's just, it just doesn't make any sense. At some point, we need to have a new eyes situations where they can give a new set of ideas without the old stuff. I mean, granted, come on, we can't sit here and act like Trump's platform was so idea changing and new. He was talking about make America great again. So not only were we going backwards, but we're going way back. And the fact that people don't even realize that, all they think is, we were making money. No, you thought you were making money necessarily because one, a lot of things were pushed back, a lot of environmental blockage that were blocking to make sure that your water was safe, your air was safer, this and the other. He did away with a lot of those. So trust and believe, Flint water got worse. This, there's a whole bunch of other things that added to his lack of kind of hands off, and we're going to go back to how it used to be.
And you're going to pay for it. They were going to consume everything and leave nothing for the future generations
and make money off of it.
And make money off of it. As long as they were comfortable, they didn't even care about their own grandchildren.
Right. You think
the motherfuckers thought they were going to Mars or those dick-shaped rocket ships?
Yeah,
that was another thing. Keep thinking you're gonna ride the friendly dick to Mars,
right? Or go to Mars. Or fuck this up and then go somewhere else and live. Like
watch too many TV shows. That shit. We're not that advanced. And the fucking aliens sure ain't gonna come down and get us.
Yeah, right. I don't think so.
They said, no, we don't want all y'all niggas. All y'all.
Right. I mean, I think AOC is good for the I think she's good for the Democratic Party. I think she's good for any party, really. I think as long as you have somebody giving new ideas and things that really affect people on the ground, you will always have that kind of pushback against the establishment of any party because they're used to the way things were or the way things are because it's the way it makes money for them. Can I come say something real quick? Yeah, sure.
You're right, AR.
Okay, where's the? Okay, there we go. Here you go. What you said, right? Right, not an antebellum. Yeah, I see that. And there's the movie too with Kiki Palmer, which is something similar.
Yeah, similar to that.
Similar to that. That was good.
With
too.
the family owned.
Yeah, with the family owned them, right? And she didn't know she was a whole free woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, art imitates life for real. So know that it could be stuff like this going on. I dropped the link back, so if you wanted to come up on Edge or 2 cents or have a question, you surely can. Waiting on you. While I'm waiting, do you know you can always hit me at these other spots, the Facebook, Instagram, and Friday I'll be over at the King Jives channel with King Jives and the rest of the Kings for another another episode of the Kings and the King's Court, or however it's called.
You don't even belong. You just show up, right?
I just show up and have a good time. But yeah, the Kings and the King's Court, just having a good old time, talking about topics mostly on the other spectrum of entertainment.
Yeah, I never thought that the church and religious community was just as fucked up as everybody else.
Oh yeah,
real bad.
Yeah. I mean, people that grew up in the church, we know, like that's why it's just so like it's some of it's saddened, but it doesn't shock me because you hear all these stories growing up in church when you have family members like that.
Hey, yeah, we're talking about AOC, and I was just it just inspired a thought in my brain. Like literally all of the young people that I see, like Gen Z, the ones who are voting age, and the younger millennials,
right?
They love that woman. She's probably the only reason for any of them
to vote.
That the to vote, and the only reason that Democrats are relevant, her and Bernie.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't even think the Democrats could be relevant with the younger people without an AOC.
No way, because they don't know how to relate. They're so far removed.
Yeah, they've aged out. They're too old, and they don't get it.
Now with me,
and they don't want to take the time to learn
or move aside to let people. It's okay to still be there, but move out of the position of being the head of the House of this and the head of this committee and that committee.
When I saw that Nancy Pelosi was going to be over the House of Representatives again, I was like, y'all really don't listen. Y'all don't listen at all.
Right.
No,
they don't.
No,
they don't.
She's the Speaker of the House, and she's out of touch herself.
Yeah.
But what can you say?
The Democrats are just like the Republicans. They are.
Yeah, it's just a hold on to power kind of thing that they need to let go. It's one thing again to stay in power or to stay in a seat, but it's a whole other thing to stay on a committee, to stay as the head of what you call it. Here you are aging, and you can't even go, okay, well, I'm not going to run for speaker this year. I'm going to let somebody else run. Let a younger person have the spot.
Yeah.
So that way,
because there comes a time when you become as you get older, you become an advisor. You have to back away. You have to let them go ahead and learn how to do this stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and it didn't even have to be AOC, because at that point she probably wasn't ready. She's only been in Congress for 2 terms or so.
Yeah.
But it could have been literally anybody else younger.
They could have been anybody else. Right. It could have been anybody else. But again, they've been kind of structured in a way where they didn't buck against, the kind of machine either. You notice when the new freshmen came in, they're kind of like, well, why we got to sit here and answer to y'all? Why can't we just ask questions? Why we got to do this? We want to bring this forth towards the House.
Right.
And so it was always this, because that's usually what happens when you come into a situation and you knew, because you look at things differently. You have a different set of eyes, different thoughts on what you're viewing. So you're not looking at it the same kind of structured way. It's the same thing here with YouTube. You get around with people who've been there for years. Oh, you're not supposed to be on while this person's on. You're not supposed to do this while this person. Who said that? Who made these rules? Like I'm gonna cut my goddamn shit on when I want to, and I'll cut it off when I cut the shit off. So
I do this shit when it works my schedule.
Right. Exactly. When it works in my schedule. I'm not here working for you motherfuckers. I'm here working for the people that got me here. And it's the same thing. I'm here to, talk amongst you all about things that affect us all, and we can learn from each other. I'm not here to sit here and, kind of, oh, look at my numbers. Like, I could give a goddamn. Like, as long as we're here learning and sitting up here talking about things that matter, that's all I care about. So
my thing is, when you can literally see yourself fading into obscurity, you might want to listen.
Right.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. But I mean, you could even tell that to people like we were just talking about growing up in church. You got the older people that's still sitting on boards and deacon boards and stuff. And you got, no young people come to the church. There's nothing for them to do. You got all these old people coming there. It's like old hangout. Like, there's nothing for young people to do in the church anymore. So of course they're not going to.
You have to make room. You have to make room.
They'll
never learn how to do it themselves.
Yeah. So it's the same thing with the Congress. They won't let the young people, kind of have their say. So, they'll keep having this push. But I do hope that she continues to inspire younger people to vote to the point where she, becomes a voice in herself to reckon with in the Democratic Party, where they have to listen to her because she has the voting base. She'll be running shit like Trump.
Yeah, and for me, it's been kind of hard because I'm more of a centrist, kind of like a pragmatist or whatever. Yeah, and so you see the more radical young people, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't agree with this. And then you see the people who are like dinosaurs, and it's like, oh my gosh, I definitely don't agree with this. And so I'm just like, whatever is going to work to where we don't get to Trump.
Yeah. I mean, that part too. That's what I'm at. Like, okay, I can sacrifice not getting this or having this discussion tabled for a little while, as long as I don't have to deal with that. Because that, with 4 years of non-questioning, is a no-go. He can do anything. He can do anything, and I mean anything. If he had Congress and the Senate in full capacity, he could probably.
I think it's gonna happen.
He could probably talk about, oh well, I want to be president for another 4 years.
Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna happen.
And see how easy it was. That's the thing that got me. What happened to all these fail safes that you
Right.
Yep.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to go too far because somebody's there to protect that. Everybody who was there to protect it, he fired, let go, or they walked away.
Look.
That was me. I promise you. I was like, oh no, that can't happen because we have checks and balances. And then I was like, wait, we don't have checks and oh my God.
And you see how nothing worked.
Nothing.
I mean, you're talking about people that's still referred to a scroll from the 1700s. Okay,
right? Yeah, that's true too. Or some people who's never even.
We must have the Constitution read literally. I'm like, no, we don't need to do that.
No, actually, it should be rewritten. It needs to be rewritten.
It should be.
I mean, it's not like it's 100 or 200, 300 years old. The world hasn't changed at all.
No, not according to that, because now we don't even speak the language.
Right. Not only are we not even included.
Yeah, that's true. That's right, because we weren't included, and it should have been a living document,
right?
In terms where it constantly changes as we change, but it hasn't. It stayed the racist piece of shit of what it is.
Yes.
Hi.
You back, AR?
Y'all can't do me like this with these policies. I just want to say this real quick. Democrats are not going to learn. They are antiquated. They are dinosaurs, like you said, sis. Mm-hmm. We are going to be in the plantation, and that's change because the girls want to play like this old school politic game of like, I'll go out to drinks with you, talk over things, we'll will and deal, and like mess around. I'm trying to laugh because I feel like I cursed a little bit too much. So mess around and the Republicans gonna get back in office, and even if it isn't Trump this time or next time,
heck, it could be DeSantis, and that's worse.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what people don't even understand.
Huh?
DeSantis.
I said it could be DeSantis, and that's worse.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's the same thing. The Republicans already realized that their base is really giving you far right teas. This I call Trumpism little movement. Like, that's gonna stay. That is not going anywhere. January 6th just proved, like, if we put our minds to it, this is how far we can go. And even look at the whole situation. Don't even get me started with the Secret Service and all them, the Lord up. But like, these are the people that are supposed to protect the highest people in office, but then trust them to do the right thing in this moment. Like, it's all hell in basket, and they're too busy, the Nancy Pelosi's and the rest of them, just paying politics as usual. We're going to be out in the plantations, and then that's when you're going to have an uprising of the Bernie Sanders and the AOC, and be like, okay, y'all see, is this good enough for y'all? Like, like, we actually need to do an uprising. Not saying it's going to be technically that, but that's just how I feel. Like,
I can't do the picking cotton thing. My hands are tender.
Listen,
I'm too disobedient. I'll be dead.
I'm leaving the country. Like, that's time, but I'm for real this time. Like, we flip red, I'm leaving the country because I can't trust what's going to happen to me because I'm in feminine gauge now. I hang around and try to deal with the fallout. No, ma'am.
It's easy.
I'll take my chances overseas careers.
Right. Yeah, no, it's crazy. And it's only about to get easier.
Yeah, you just mentioned how they realized that their base is really like on that extreme, and it's kind of like that just brought to mind. You remember like in the 2000s when people were being radicalized by the internet to do terrorist stuff?
Right.
It's like the same thing literally happened with Republicans.
Right.
Like they became their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Yes,
but they're playing into it.
Well, their own fear is what I meant to say. They became the people that they was fearing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, this is what works. Oh my God, like this far right stuff works. This is what can get us like popping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're like, the fact that they're willing to go that far, because I really refuse to believe that a lot of them that are playing into this, like the Ted Cruz and all the rest of them, like,
right?
Josh Hawley's and all them. I mean, they do know better, but they really playing into it because it works. It works for them.
To really believe that crap is that like that Marjorie Taylor Greene shit.
Oh yeah, no, she believes it.
She's a true believer.
Yeah, she's a nutcase. She believes the shit.
You put a stake through her heart.
Yeah, she believes it. She's all in for it. Like she was standing next to him the other day, standing next to Trump somewhere. I think where were they? Were they in Florida? They were somewhere. And I mean, they were cheering for him and she was just a smiling and a grinning and a waving. She's so into it. It's so like, I don't get it. It's
the worst ones to me were the folks like Paul Ryan who knew better, but they were cowards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they just left.
they just left. Right. And then secretly, because even they do it now, they secretly have me, oh, I wish he would just leave. Oh, I wish he would just, I knew he was doing something crazy. Oh, I knew this would go this way. It's like, well, why didn't you say something then?
Right. And why aren't you actually publicly saying something now?
Right. Right.
Or selling their books.
Right.
Right. Like, I'm not going to buy your book, Jared Kushner, just because you want to speak the truth now. Right. I don't care.
Who is that one dude, the handsome Republican guy that was in the wheelchair?
That was in the wheelchair. Madison Cawthorn?
Oh, yeah. Oh, they kicked his ass out because he started telling on them. he started telling on them, talking about something. Oh yeah, they invited me to this sex party and they was doing coke, and they was like,
he's in his 20s, right?
His late 20s, early 30s.
Okay.
They erased him real quick. They got him up out of there.
They're like, oh no, you talk too much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, you already know that you don't talk about the drug uses and you don't talk about the sex parties.
Nope. And you talking about your own party too at that? Yeah, you gotta go.
gotta go.
You gotta go. They willed his ass.
Oh no!
Yeah. Rolled him right on out the door.
Huh?
I said they rolled him right on out the door.
Lord. Well, I said I was going to come up here and say something real quick, and I stayed up here longer than I thought, but it's always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you for that.
It's always good to have you back.
To have you and see you in the chats already. Because y'all don't know me here long enough. It's a whole hour into what I do. But it was fun. All right.
All right.
Have a good night. All right, sir. Any parting?
Oh, he'd have clicked his own self away. He tried to get out of there. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Boy, we really pushed it. Almost 3 hours.
Yes, it kicked me out. It said, bitch, you've been here too long.
I told you, acting. Like, what the hell is this?
So, bitch,
this was not in our contract.
Right. This is not in our contract. This is not happening. You got to go. But anyway, as always, thank you guys so much for hanging out. This is definitely very enjoyable. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you, AR, for dropping in. Thank you, Beps, for adding your commentary. Don't ask me. Thank you very much. Definitely appreciate it. Always a pleasure. Come by. It's always fun to have these back and forth dialogues because they are good, insightful, and informative, and we all learn something, and we're
learning from each other.
Right. Learning and growing, and that's what it's all about, because that's the only way we can actually see things change in our laws and things of that nature when we actually sit down and work through it and talk it out and actually get some things done. So it's definitely a cue that they should be taking from us, that they need to be doing in DC and other places, not just DC, but definitely in our local governments as well. But with that said, guys, please make sure that you are wearing your mask and washing your hands and all that other good stuff, because you know the 19 ain't going nowhere and the monkeys got bananas. So please make sure that you are protecting yourselves, because that's all we can do. Trust and believe, because as we can see, ain't no jabs really working. You got your president knocked up twice, and he too old to be getting knocked up. Lord knows the next knock up might knock him on out of here.
Knock him on out.
And y'all be sitting up there talking about some Madam President or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope she got something under her belt that she just playing this way, is my hope.
Yeah.
That she really.
I hope she's actually studying the playbook.
Yeah, and maybe getting into gear just in case, because
she gonna get that phone call 4:00 in the morning. Oh, Joe.
Yeah. You didn't do it. You didn't do it. Oh, Joe.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be on her.
Yeah, it really is. And everything will be on her. You know what I'm saying? Like the pressure, the same.
But I think that the other former presidents would leap in and guide her. So
yeah, I think so too.
I don't think it would be too. I don't think it'll be too bad.
I think so too.
She'll be able to take counsel with them.
Yeah. Very interesting thought. But anyway.
I hope for our sake.
For everybody's sake. Don't scare me too much. I can't take too much. It's late. All right. On that note, you guys have a blessed night. Good night. Until next time, America. Peace.
Good night.